America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Big ups, how you doing? Good evening, good afternoon, good night. Depending where you are, it's just after 3 p.m. here, Wednesday, August. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in to another episode of the Untitled series. I don't know why sometimes I forget the name. It is dubbed the Untitled series because I couldn't even think of a name for it. But welcome to episode 23 of it. Got a very special guest. Can't wait to hear from. Can't wait for you guys to hear from as well. You guys and gals, lovely people out there. Want to say big ups to the Patreon members as well. I want to say big up to the YouTube chat members. Big up yourself. If you are interested in that kind of thing, there's a join button. You can click it. I'm not going to plug a link for it. You can find it if you so choose to become a Lover's Lane member of, excuse me, of the YouTube channel. But either way, hit that like on your way in. It is free, costs you absolutely nothing. Partake in that poll. I see 21 votes and 12 likes. We got about 10 people that don't want to grab a free case of beer. You just grab the beer, walk into the party, grab the drink of choice, walk into the party. It's absolutely free. No one's going to charge you a dime. All you got to do is pick it up and bring it in. It's really easy. Anyway, that's what I'm just going to say about that. But the 10 of you who do not want to bring the beer, that's fine. I do believe it is a free universe. We are all free people. And you can vote, you can party, and partake and drink and mooch off the free drinks all you want. But you know what? Do your part. Hit that like. It does wonders for content creators such as myself and others. So when they ask you to do it, they mean it with the most sincerest of feelings. But either way, big ups and thank you to the Patreon members. Shout out Alan 10-inch Sibley each and every time. If you're watching this live or on playback, I want you to big up yourself right now. Let's see who got the first place prize today. It was Brian Anthony. Says, I'm very open to surprises. All right, Brian, hell yeah. I don't know what that means exactly, but I support you and I like it. I'll put it that way. Adrian Stroker says, good evening, all. DJ Green Alert. Evening, Jacob will join you in a sec. And hello, everyone in the chat. Big up, DJ Daniel E's in the house. Big up, Daniel. Daniel was giving me some grief in someone's chat yesterday. I saw you, Daniel, about my love for Romano. That's okay. It's not just love. He brings me a lot of joy when he goes clattering in. It is a personal preference. And for right or for wrong, I support my man Romano. This is a big third season coming up. I think it will be a huge indication if he can actually offer us something going forward in the future, but it will be interesting to see, no doubt. Jessica's in the house. Evening. So hello, Jessica. Hope you're doing well. Jay, big ass mug. Yes, I do have the big ass mug today, but not coffee. I was eating a little cereal out of it, but I hope you're doing well. Swifty is in the house. We also got Collison, Nicholas Collison in the house. Big up yourself, Barry. Range Postacoglu, I think is what you're going by now. But hello, Drula, as well. Yes, we do got some good bits of news. And one day, surely it's got to be good. Good to be true, especially being a Spurs fan. We are in the midweek, so there is hope that we can get this done quickly and swiftly. But without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on, I'm going to call him the man of the hour because at least for the next hour, he is the man that I'm going to be chatting with. And I hope this is a nice surprise. We haven't chatted with him in a while. It's been a couple weeks, but you know what? He's back better than ever. Looking lovely. How are we doing? Ashmatic in the house. I need some nice music to really. I feel like that intro doesn't even do you justice when I welcome you into the show. But over. Hey, real quick, what were you going to say about this takeover? Do you think that's a good idea? I'm all about it. Hey, I'm all about it.
It's crazy right now. Like Jay-Z, Jiggerman, Hovey, Hove, Mr. Beyonce, like Umbrella, Rihanna, Jay-Z, man. Call it the Rock Stadium. Like, imagine if Jay-Z took over. That would be crazy. I know,
when the sun shines, we'll shine together, my friend.
Geez. Like, I know people are thinking he can't afford it, but you know, I'm sure it's going to be a group of investors, not just Jay-Z himself. But how cool would that be?
He did say, "I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman."
And
come on. That's what I'm saying. So I was all about it. I know people were a little bit like, oh, it's never going to happen. Never going to, this and that and the other. But the way I see it, I'm just happy that it did happen. Big up Insider Trading. Says big up Jacob HH Raid. Big up. Let's get some big ups in the chat. I see someone just signed up for the membership. Let me skip down through the chat. Sorry if I'm missing your chat. I want to say big up to Caption Grandma. Just signed up for the Lover's Lane, I believe. Yes, yes. How are you doing? Big up, Captain Grandma. Been seeing you in the chat lately. Big up yourself for grabbing that membership. Glenn Meadows with some big up. Ash. Nick calls and get ready for some double pivots and half space. Hopefully you got some of that lined up for us. You know, we'll get into it. Ashmatic comes in with the vibes. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I felt like I needed some kind of intro music to drop when I welcomed you in. I don't think I did you justice.
That's all good, my
Big
bro.
up, JC.
When you say it's all good.
Yeah. There are. I have a whole laundry list of questions that I want to get through with you. But I am, for my sake, I'm gonna hold back just a little bit, at least until the 10-minute mark. I think you know why. Just because I might get a little animated. Alan Bennett, if they are here, Alan's gonna ask for a certain video, and then that's really gonna get the temperature in the room really to rise for me. Yeah, it's gonna be sweat, a little Keith Sweaty up in here, if you know what I mean. Big up Jason Bell as well in the house. Want to make sure I say hello to everyone. E1's son, big up Jacob, praying for miracles by week's end. Absolutely, I am too. Carl Simpson, hello Jensen, everyone in the chat. Hello Carl, hope you're doing well. Nick says Van de Veen is done. When Romano speaks, it's double done. Romano has spoken, and then he quote tweeted the tweet and said official, exclusive, official, confirmed official, something to that effect. And I'm really trying to understand, what does that mean to you?
Some people say when Romano says something, you might as well just sell your house, or you just like you trust him more than you would trust your wife. Like that's how official.
That's some trust right there.
That's some real trust.
Yeah. I don't know. I just why did he have to say officially official confirmed when he tweeted it? I thought that was quite funny. I'm gonna pull up my replies because
so long it's been like drawn out. It's been a long transfer, and obviously he's already said it's been done. Well, a while back he said something to that kind of, you know, to that kind of like extent where he mentioned it like, and it never happened. And few reporters mentioned it and never happened. And so, yeah, I think now he's saying, look, double done. It's done. It's definitely done. Done. I think he's trying to get the point across that it's done. I think that's what it is.
I just don't get it. I do not get it. Big up Todd Spurs, says big up Jacob in chat. Big up Glenn Meadows. Big up Lee Smithy Smith in the house. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Big up everyone. Big up Donovan Davis, my Texas brother, says good afternoon, Jacob, my Texas brother. Big up Donovan Davis, double D in the house. It's hot as hell in San Antonio. I'm sure it's hot in EP. Hopefully we get Van de Veen over the line. It's actually today, it is very hot, and there's more humidity than usual, Donovan, because last night we got some rain came, a little storm blew through, and when it rains in the desert, it's quite a beautiful smell of smells. So we had a nice night, but it has made today just that much harder because it is, at least in El Paso, it's like dry heat. It's not like a thick, warm, moist blanket laying on top of you. But when you go to like North Texas, Dallas, where I'm from, it's like a thick, warm blanket, my friend. But big up Donovan. Hope you're keeping well. Stay cool. Get in the air. Being a rival fan, I don't know why I like your streams, but hey, stay strong in tough times. Big up, JC. Glad you like the streams. The first time you tuned in, you've tuned in every time since, and you know what? That means a lot to me. Daniel, hey, it's fine to banter me. I always say I'm welcome to the banter. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Well, Ash, I don't think that you would take offense if someone, was calling you out for a little bit of waffle. I think there's yeah, it is what it is. I don't always have the best takes. I get things wrong. I'm human. I understand that. But what I will say is you can't blame me for love. And when I think about love, it is something that you feel inside. It's something that you can't help. It's something that just makes you smile.
Something inside so strong.
Yes, Ash, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. How'd that picture get there? But I'm just saying, I did want to quickly show you this tweet. But big up Daniel E. I always want people to keep me accountable too. That's another thing. Sometimes my emotions can override my brain and my logic. I play this. There's a constant battle internally, Ash, that I talk about with rival fans. It's like, how much do you allow your feelings to? Because I'm first and foremost a fan of the sport, a fan of my club. So as a fan, I feel like that's where my love is involved. And then as a YouTuber content creator, that's where the logic starts to come in, and I have to reevaluate things and say, okay, maybe I'm jumping into this with my heart, or am I jumping into this with my head? And I'll take the L with Adama Traore. I still would sign him at Tottenham Hotspur. You cannot convince me that he would not do something for Tottenham's attack. I don't care. But we're all allowed a hall pass, right? A hall pass of a bad take. That's fine. I'll take that one. But I stand by it still to this day. I promise you, I will not step back from that.
To this day.
To
But
this
you know
day.
what? I get bantered all the time, bro. So it's all right. I go to like a barbershop, something that you might not know about. I'm just saying, I'm seeing your hair, the growth. I'm loving it. I'm not hating on it. I'm not hating on it. One day
It's coming in. It's coming in. If you remember when I first was doing the streams and I hopped on the YouTube scene, my hair was down below my titties.
Damn, son.
Yeah, it was down below my titties. But I grow it out, and then this was the third time that I grow it out real long, and I donate it to Wigs for Kids. So if you're in America and you got long hair and you want to donate it to a really good cause, a non-profit charity, not Locks of Love, I will say that. If you're American, not Locks of Love, they charge membership, like they charge families through their hospital for Locks of Love, basically. Whereas Wigs for Kids, if you're a kid who's lost your hair for any medical reason at all, you get a free wig. So it's a really cool program. And they're nationwide. So you just mail them your hair. Yeah, 16 inches. You braid it up, 16 inches, cut it, mail it into them. So that's why my hair's a little busted. I cut it myself.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's just something I do. Memory of my mom, something to. But yeah, when it comes in, I start to feel my powers grow. So the longer my hair gets, the more shameless I will become.
Samson.
I resonate with Samson a little bit, if you know what I mean. Van de Veen is good. I do like Van de Veen. Let's get back to the football talk. We are about 14 minutes in. Big ups if you're here. See about 76 of y'all in the chat. Big up yourself right now. Hit that like. Participate in the poll. Let's see how we're doing. 43 votes, 40 likes. I like the ratio. A lot more people grabbing the free beer on the way in, and I love that. So big up yourself right now. First off, Ash, where do you stand with Van de Veen as a player? Do you think he immediately walks into this 11 and upgrades us, or does he just immediately walk in because he's better than what we got?
The latter. I think he walks in because he's better than what we have. I just think with the way we're playing with the high line, he has pace, he has height, he's physical in that aspect where you see a dominant 6 foot tall plus player right there. He's actually left-footed. So with Ben Davies playing as our natural left-sided centre-back, he's like our only real option, if I'm being honest. I mean, Tanganga has played there. Emerson Royal featured there, I think, one game. I think even your boy, Romero, has played on the left maybe 1 or 2 times. But I think in terms of competition, Ben Davies is the first go-to. I saw Tanganga's played there as well. But against Brentford, you're looking at players like Mbeumo, and you're looking at Wisa, and you're looking at a few other players that may have pace, like Henry, I know, is on the other side. But in terms of pace, you're looking at a real threat. And I'm really worried for Ben Davies if he was to start in that opening game. So you have to look at Micky van der Ven with real, you have to take him serious because he's the only player that might be able to fit in. The question mark I have is he's only played 1 season at Wolfsburg. I know he played in the under-21s international in the Euro 21s, and he did quite well. But it's a new challenge. It's a new step up. It's a new team. It's Premier League, physical and fast. German is quite physical, but not physical like the Prem. And we had to play in the air a lot more. And from what I've seen, he's not that dominant in the air, basically. He doesn't tend to use his head as much. I don't know if that's down to...
But surely as a young athlete who's still growing and maturing into his physical body, I know some people believe that a man stops growing at 21. That is the female body that stops growing at 21. We still grow till 24. Yeah. Some people are still growing at 25, even as far as 26. But let's assume it's 24. Surely he's tall, he's large. This is something that we could improve, right? Under the right kind of regimen.
But I'm just talking about in terms of the first game. It's Brentford. They're known for set pieces. They're known for being physical. They're known to put the ball in the air, put bodies about. Like literally, that's the team you don't want to play for your first game. Like, welcome to the Premiership. They're as close to like a Stoke or Bolton, that type of physical. Like, they're obviously not that. They're more of a counter-attacking. They can hold the ball a lot better. They're more technical than any of those teams, than those Allardyce teams or Sean Dyche's Everton. They're a lot more technical, put on the floor. But like, yeah, they're gonna test them. They're gonna test them in more ways than one. They're gonna put the ball in behind him, and he's got the pace to deal with that. But he's gonna have to be alert from day one, from get-go. And so the manager has a big call if he is to. I know he hasn't signed yet, but let's assume he has signed. Like, let's assume that.
That's what DJ Green doesn't want to get too ahead of themselves.
Yeah, like a lot of fans are automatically comparing to Vertonghen, because that was our last, quality left-sided left back. And if you ever do see, well, I know you know a lot about him, but for those who are watching, if you see some clips on him, he does have that kind of reminiscent of Vertonghen, that kind of warrior, kind of last-ditch tackle vibe about him. So my thing is, when you're playing against, when you're playing for a new team, you don't know your teammates, and it's all about having that type of relationship, that partnership with that player. Romero, obviously, he needs a partner in crime, and he likes to venture forward quite a bit. He likes to be front-footed. So what is Van der Ven's role? Is Van der Ven going to sit back? I looked at Ange's team for Celtic, Carter Vickers. He was quite slow, to be fair. But
I never thought he was very quick on the ball. Anytime I saw him in Lily White, I was like, yeah, he needs to go somewhere else. But now I'm hearing that he'd be a perfect type for an Ainge system. As myself, you said just now that you've gone back and you've watched how an Ainge ball really sets up. And I'll be admittedly honest, the first time I ever saw Ainge ball, whatever that may be, which honestly I don't think we fully grasp what it is, and he's already alluded to the fact that Ainge ball is okay, let's put the phrase right, that's what it is. Ainge ball, his ball, is a fluid thing, something that adapts constantly, something that will be fluidly like interchanged with different ideas and tactics as he goes along. And he even said, quote, some of these things that I'm going to be trying to put in and instill, they may not work and be effective. So then I'm going to have to reassess and pivot and change and go in a different direction with how I see this working out. So I think that he's a very flexible manager. So I don't think anyone really knows what Ainge ball is. I don't even think he knows what Ainge ball is. I think it's something he's going to find out as he goes along. I think that's just my perception.
I think he's got a philosophy. His philosophy is, the players, it's called positional play, basically. It's something that the City group has adopted. So you see any team that's within that group. Manchester City, they have a wide family across the world. And the system they play, when they get their youngsters from the academy and they take them to teams that play that mode of football, it's all positional play. And positional play, I'm going to get a bit nerdy here. So positional play is basically across the line. You've got a horizontal line and you've got a vertical line. Horizontally, there can only be 3 players in that same line, and vertically, there can only be 2. So once the players understand that, they know where to be, and if a player's in that position, they should be here. So almost like if I'm a right back and I close my eyes, I know where the striker's going to be. That's the kind of positional play that Ange is going to adopt in this 4-3-3 system. So, of course, I think this is a season where we're going to learn a lot of things about our team. I think Ange's going to learn about their characteristics, their personalities, how quickly they can take on information, etc., etc. And I think we may lose a lot of games because of it, because I think it's a transitional season, which is okay. I think for most fans, as long as we're playing
exciting,
exactly, and they're giving their all, they're giving 100%, then it's irrelevant, because you just know that eventually it's going to happen. Whether it's this season or the following season, we're moving in the right direction, and maybe we might need to buy 1 or 2 players come maybe January or maybe next summer. But this is a process, And so anything that happens from now, I just think, just like enjoy the ride, man. Just take a seat and see how it goes.
That is a conversation I do want to delve into while I have you here, Ash. So I'm going to go back a little bit to what I have with Van de Veen, because we were going with the hypothetical. Let's assume he's and how he fits into this system, right? But let's go back. Todd Spurs brings up a good point. There was another comment that I had highlighted for a minute that from Caption Grandma. The statement includes could be done soon. What does this mean? What does this mean, Ash? We've been waiting for so long. What does this actually mean to the fan? That's like, what are we doing here? It's been over a month.
Basically, the way Spurs operate is we want to get the best buck or the best bang for whatever you want to call for that dollar. So, if a player is worth 50 million, we don't want to pay asking price. We want to go away saying that, yeah, we got a deal. We managed to scrape 3 million off, 2 million off here, 5 million. The payment structure was spread across 3 seasons, 4 seasons. Obviously, the selling club, they want as much money upfront as possible. So that's the reason why it takes so long. And like even the agents and the journals are not sure, because at any minute, Spurs could change their stance. And what they do is they sit on players. So the longer you sit on a player, for example, Man City, they haven't bought him yet. Gavardio has been linked for City for
a long time, yeah.
But that hasn't gone over the line. The reason being is because the selling club, they want to sell for a record 100 mil. That's what they want. Now,
isn't 90 still the record? I read that 90 is still the record for a center back, correct?
Oh, yeah, in terms of So basically, 90 is the records, and obviously, Man City bought Jack Grealish for 100 million, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to be known as that club. They want to be known as a club that, they don't pay for the asking price. And if they want to go for a player, that player the player forces the move, basically, and that drives the price down. So I think that's the reason why Spurs got in early. We agreed personal terms a long time ago. That's the reason why there was so many rumors where his dad was at the airport. Agents were there. So Micky probably was at Hotspur Way, did a talk, sat down, or there might have been a video call with him and Ange, and they spoke. And then some personal terms might have been done a long time ago, but we're not privy to know that. So I think that gives the power to the club that's buying, because they've got a player that wants to come, and they're thinking, the club's probably said to them, yeah, don't worry, we will sell you. You saw it with the video in Amazon, the Amazon,
With Prime Dog?
Yeah, the documentary on Amazon for Spurs.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it about 3 times, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, that bit when you see Danny Rose, like, what? Is Paris Saint-Germain coming for me? It's AC Milan. Like, he's on Daniel Levy. Like, has anyone come for me yet? Yeah? No? All right, cool. And then he'd be knocking on the door. Yo, is anyone, like, what about now? Like, and Ericsson sitting down.
Ericsson doing the same thing, too. He's like...
So that's basically the tactic that they do. They've obviously spoken to the player. You're allowed to do that within this time, within reason. Obviously, the player still owns the actual player. The club, sorry, still owns the player. But so that's basically what they're doing. They're doing that to force the price down, and that's what Man City did. Because Man City now apparently is 77 mil. So now it doesn't look like Man City are going along 100 million breaking a record, 90 million breaking a record. You see what I'm trying to say? So Spurs, that's the same way they operate. For us fans, it's hella frustrating. It's frustrating for me because I think that style for me doesn't always work. We're not Man City. We're not in a position where we can say we can bully clubs and say, yeah, we want your player, and that player is definitely gonna come. Like the club has to hold and sell that at the price that we want. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for me, I would rather just get it done, because the amount of time that we've missed in pre-season training, getting ideas across to the players, getting that player right for the system, so the player understands the system, and bedding them in. When it comes to actual friendlies, he's going to be able to get used to the pace and get used to the play. We're going to see if he's good or not. Do you know what I mean? So you lose out on all of that because you want to save on 5 or 10 mil here and there, so you can look good. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like you can look at it.
Speaking of saving 5 to 7 mil, talk to me about this Ashley Phillips deal.
The the same thing.
I'm not trying to pivot too far away from Van de Ven and what that could bring, but obviously a center back being involved in the conversation is something that I think is of importance. This guy is 18 years old. Do you really see him coming in and having a position on the bench? Is this maybe should be our third option? I've always said I want 3 center backs. Now, if we get 2 and Van de Ven's 1, and then this guy, Ashley Phillips, is the other, I don't know that that's enough. I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being I'm not being greedy here, but surely, and don't call me Shirley, but there's got to be something that we like. I snuck that one in there. There's got to be something to be said about haggling for that 5 to 7 million, but is it more important on some of these deals like a Van de Ven to just pay that extra and get it done, whereas Ashley Phillips deals maybe one where you could say, okay, it's worth me spending however long now it's been, 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we had the medical. We already did the medical with Ashley Phillips, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Allegedly, it's all allegedly. This is what I'm hearing, but if that's true and this has been that long, how do we weigh it up when we say, okay, it's okay to go this long for the Ashley Phillips deal, but it's not okay to go this long for the Van de Ven deal? Is that just because of the immediate impact, or what do you think?
It's the way the club does its business, and it always has done, and it's frustrating for us, but it's just the way they operate. They don't want to pay asking price. However cheap the deal is, if it's 1 million, they want to pay 500,000. If it's 50 million, they want to pay 14,098,000, that they never want to pay the asking price. So if they feel they can wait it out and then no other clubs come around bidding, then they think, well, we've actually got a deal here. Do you know what I mean? They'll shake hands and then they'll think that money that they've saved on, that can go towards the pot and that can go towards bigger players. So like, for example, like supposing we bought Ashley in and we bought Van de Ven, but we managed to drop the price on both of them, that might allow for a special signing that no one was expecting. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, like a Tapsoba, or I don't know, some people want like a more experienced Premiership proven centre back come into the club. All of a sudden, Spurs can go and bid for that player, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's their thinking. Now, whether that works in real life is another question. I'm going to say, because we've missed out on so many players because of this style of bargaining and being tight, as we call it. They're wearing skinny jeans, like they can't put their hand in their pocket. It's mad. So yeah,
well, you can slide. These phones are slim now. Whenever the tight pants were in, man, the phones were a little bulky. Men still carried wallets in their back pocket, so you could stretch them bad boys out. They're a little stretchy nowadays, I would assume. Them skinny pants.
For me personally, I agree with you. Like I say, look, some players, yeah, all right, weigh it out. Other players, just get it done. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And it all depends. Like, I don't think Spurs like to jump on a player where it's a bidding war. I think when there's a bidding war, Spurs ain't involved. A bit like City. That's why I compared them earlier. City do not do bidding wars. See what happened with Rice and Arsenal? They're like, yeah, have him. You know what I mean? We just drove the price up for you, man. And then now we don't even want him. So now we don't look like the club that's being bumped all the time. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Now, Arsenal, they're panicking. Oh my days, City there. We need to like make sure we get this deal over the line. Now they spent a massive part of their budget on that one player. Now they've got less. So if you were to quickly, for those in the comments, type in transfer market, go on transfermarket.co.uk, and then you type in, like, for example, Tottenham Hotspur, and then you do a comparison against other Premier League teams, then you can see how much we've spent in terms of revenue, in terms of like how much players we bought over like the last 3 to 5 seasons. And you can compare that to like a Newcastle, Aston Villa, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. And we've actually spent quite a bit. I checked it out. For those who don't want to check, I checked it out. And I think within the last 3 to 5 seasons, we're like maybe the third highest in terms of purchasing players and in terms of getting players out. So we're good at buying the wrong type of players, because clearly those players that we bought in weren't the right fit, but we're not good at getting rid of players. For example, like Chelsea, they're a little bit better in getting rid of players because they're buying players that other teams want. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think when Spurs are going into the market, they may also have that in mind, that they don't want to overspend and overreach, because that pushes up that kind of revenue margin. And they're trying to balance the books to make sure that, you know, the amount of players like they sell kind of balances out the ones they bring in. I think that's how they operate. I think that's what it is. But as fans, we just know how bad the season was, and there's no excuse. We haven't spent on centre backs for the last 5 seasons. You've seen the graph that's been going around. We're like the worst team in terms of investment at the back, and it showed for last season. We've really been hurt. I think the last big signing was Romano, and before that was Davinson Sanchez, which is crazy. I mean,
I think it was Joe Rodon and then Davinson. Yeah. That doesn't make it better.
Compared to Rodon and Sanchez was 40 mil, but how much was Rodon? It wasn't
16.
Yeah, it's not worth talking about. 16 million. What's that? So,
well, the main reason why it's worth talking about when we got Joe Rodon is we could have gotten Kim Min-jae. Jose Mourinho was asking for Ruben Diaz. He said Kim Min-jae as my cheap option, and we said Joe Rodon as a more expensive than Kim Min-jae at the time option. And I find that.
I don't understand how that's gone past, because if Mourinho says he wants Kim Min-jae and Son's also recommended it, I don't know how it goes past those two. Someone else has interfered, and that's scuppered the deal. I don't want to really get into that, but you know what I'm trying to say? It's crazy. Like, if Mourinho says he wants a player and he's at the right price point, it should be coming in. I don't understand. So
yeah, we're both right there. Well, I mean, I think we're in agreement there. It's still one of them things, right? You look back and you're like, we got done so dirty there. We could have done better. Daniela Zito, big up everyone in the chat. See about 100 of y'all here. Ben says only 53 likes, unacceptable. I see 56 likes, 71 votes. Come on, just grab the free beer on your way into the party and enjoy yourself. We're putting on some free stuff. Hitting the like is absolutely free, and it goes very far for content creators. So big ups for those of you who do hit the like and do want to see this channel grow and do support what we're doing over here. You know who you are, and you mean a lot to me. Those 57 of you, and those of you who watch us back on playback as well, and hit the likes on your way in as well. 71 votes, 41% saying the update on Van de Veen is exciting and that it's brought in hope back. Ashmatic, and then another 39% saying I'm hoping it's true, but I'm skeptical. And I've really felt like this one, it just overtook. It is now at 41%, and at 40% is exciting, but now it seems like most of the fans are feeling it's hopeful, but they're skeptical. Are you skeptical by this verbiage of I know we are heading in another direction. I want to tie up this Van de Veen thing because it's still weighing on me, and I don't know. What do I do? Am I showing up with my bathing suit, Ash, or am I showing up in my business suit? Am I suing somebody, or am I having a pool party? What are we doing here, Ash? I need you to clarify for me.
Right, listen, with Spurs, you can never celebrate until they're wearing the shirt. So I understand, man. We've got PSTD. Like, when it came to your boy, Adama Traore.
Talk about carrot in my face, man.
How many times, right? We thought that Adama was done. There was articles getting written up by the Athletic. There was so many.
And my goofy ass every week. It's happening, y'all. It's happening. Yeah, I know.
Before, so I get it. I get the skepticism. Like, just nobody wants mud in their face. Like, so it's mad. I personally, like the rest of them, I'm waiting. I'm not gonna celebrate until it's done. Even though Romano's reported on it. Like, remember, Romano reported on Ronaldo joining to Man City, and he ended up at Manchester United. So there is a small percentage that he does get wrong. And with Spurs, the way we just go quiet and deals is crazy. Look how long the Micky BDV deal has been going on for. How long? Tell me.
It reminds me of the Pedro Porro thing, where we daddled with it all month, and we finally got it done when our back was against the wall. Now, there was this little bit of hope in the beginning of the transfer window, because I was like, oh, okay, we didn't get David Raya. They were asking too much, so we went with plan B, apparently allegedly plan B. And I'm fine. It's a cheaper option, but I'm fine. We needed a damn goalkeeper, but the next thing we needed was some damn players in front of him who could help them, who can help the guy out. I don't think he's untalented. I don't think that we brought in a clumsy keeper. I think he has a higher ceiling than maybe some of us are giving him credit for. Vicario that I'm talking of, but surely again, but don't call me Shirley. We got to be thinking here. We're looking at center backs at this juncture, right? When we sign this goalkeeper, we're still looking at center backs at that juncture. And then we do the Madison deal and we send Winks the other way. And I'm still thinking, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. We got Madison under 50. That's a good deal. And then we got Winks going the other way for 10, ostensibly making it 30. I love that deal. Talk to me nicely when it comes to that deal because I love it. But the whole time I'm thinking, okay, now center back. And we got Maynard Solomon, a free. I love it. The 245 halves I've seen from him, I really, really like this guy. He's 23. He's tiny. He reminds me of Landon Donovan, as my American brothers might know. Low center of gravity, not the biggest boy out there, but he plays big. He plays, the ball's glued to his feet. And I like the way that he runs at people and around them, quite frankly. He's an exciting little prospect. Not bad business. I'm not upset about it. But surely at that juncture, we got to be thinking, when's the center backs coming? And now we've been doing this for a month.
Let me stop you for 1 second.
Yeah, of course.
You realize what you just said the whole time. Madison, we got him on not a cheap, but we got him on a, do you understand?
Discount, yeah.
Right. Vicario, Plan B, discount. What? Manor Solomon, good player, free. Obviously, there might be a little compensation after that Shakhtar Donetsk meet up. Who knows? Hear what I'm saying? We always look for opportunities. We're opportunists club. That's what we are. That's what we do. That's how we do the business.
Would you agree with this then, Ash? That he's bang average, we've been starved, and now we're accepting mediocrity? Tapsoba is clear as far as experience-wise.
I don't think anyone can put their hand on their heart, state with their chest that VDV is bang average, because you would have had
I don't think that.
Bundesliga, yeah, and follow Wolfsburg the whole time and just proper watch him. And I doubt anyone's really looked at him like in that detail to say, oh, he's bang average. Even though what you could have done is probably looked at the position of Wolfsburg, think maybe they finished 8th, 9th, and then said, oh, okay, they conceded X amount of goals, and you know what I mean, and work backwards. But until you watch a team or watch a player properly, like, are you a scout? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, no one's really a scout like that. No one's really watching hard like that. And who's to say he doesn't improve in our system? Because you've got to put into account that he's playing for a new coach. A coach might ask different things from different players. Like, Conte's going to expect something different from Romero to what Ange Postecoglou is going to want from Romero. You see what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Back 3, back 2, it's a different ball game.
I just remember I saw him play against Leverkusen. That was my team that I was keeping my eye on last season, because what I'm trying to do, Ashmatic, is I've always watched other leagues, but like, it's just sparingly. Whatever's on, I'll put it on and I'll watch it as a casual. But what I'm trying to do, since I do create content, I want to watch a team specifically that I'm like, there's 3 players I like that I preliminarily say I like the way that so Leverkusen was mine. They had Moussa Diaby at the time, which, by the way, still upset that he went to Villa. I did not know that he was for sale. I would have taken him over Kulusevski.
I did a video on him.
Love that guy. And then I love Jeremy Frimpong, Hincapi, Tapsoba, Tasso. I was like, okay, I'm going to follow this club. Obviously, I'm not going to follow Bayern Munich because, I mean, are we going to pull any players off there? Probably not. But a Leverkusen was where we got Sonny. It made a lot of sense to me. Yeah. And when the first time I saw him play versus Leverkusen, Micky Van de Veen I'm referring to, and I was like, yo, this kid, he stood out. He kind of the reason, like, Romero in his first season stood out to me. He caught my eye, and I'm like, who is this guy? He's fast as hell. He's big as hell. And I looked into him. Oh, he's young. So then in January window, I'm saying, we need to go get this guy. We need to go get this guy. And everyone's like, who the hell are you talking about? And then lo and behold, we get linked with him. So Daniel Levy, if you're listening, good job on that. But just get the man in the damn building. Let's get him in a lily white kit and start selling his jersey. It'll fly off the racks. To me, the fact that we haven't gotten anything, big up Donovan Davis, but the fact that we haven't gotten it over the line, the Tapsoba deal, maybe I would understand a little bit, because the valuation on Tapsoba, I think, can fluctuate more. Whereas a Van de Veen, I think a solid 30, 40 tops is good. And if we're sitting here arguing over the 6 to 10 mil, That is what upsets me, because that kid needs to be learning under Ainge right now. Yesterday in Australia, he should have been learning under Ainge. We need to be getting these guys in the system, learning under the big dog. So,
Just to add to that
and
as well,
apologies if I'm not saying his name right. That's just how I like to call Big Papa Ainge. Ainge, not Ange.
just to add to that as well, that was one of Pochettino's biggest gripes, like that players weren't coming in pre-season, and the rumor was that Levy was trying to save on wages because that's an extra month that he hasn't got to pay a wage.
save on that preseason fund.
He's unfitted. You know what, teacher? He did it. Trust me, he's being tight, man. Tightest.
But that's what I don't understand is we've got this money. We were the third most profitable club in the world last season.
But that's the reason why, because man's so tight with the piece, like the paper, the moolah. That's the reason why. That's the reason why we're talking, because we got an accountant running the club, and we need football people running the club to help the accountant to say, maybe, like, I know you want to save here, but this might be at the detriment of the club. You might start a bit slower, and those points that you lose at the beginning of the season might affect you when you need them towards the end of the season. So, yeah, that's what needs to happen. But unfortunately, the boss, the way I see it, I think he feels like he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for 23, 22 years. So
not greatly though. Financially, okay, it's fine. But
I reckon this is what he thinks. You get it? I think he thinks he's the mastermind. I think he thinks he's the dog shit. So that's the problem we have.
So
now.
You think he goes around, he walking? So you saying at night he go up to Mrs. Levy like he the big dog in town? You saying he go? It's me. I just saved $6 million for the budget on this quarter. Is that what we're talking about?
It's like
She's like, yeah, talk to me nicely about that 4.5 you saved on the Van de Veen deal that drug on for 2.5 months, and almost had fans at our house picketing with burning, the riot. It's upsetting to me, but you know what? It's funnier if he is this delusional about it. I think that would make it a lot more comical. I think.
Well, apparently he came out and said the whole Conte thing is his fault. I don't know if you read that today. Like, it came as like a statement or something like that, saying that the not Conte, but the demise of the club. The failure of getting into Europe and whatnot. Basically, the buck lies with him. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's mad because I was having this debate, not debate. I was having a conversation with my boy Marlon from obviously the Southview Boys. We got them,
Southview Coys. They're in the description. The tag was a little long, so I couldn't fit in the title, but it is in the description. Go like and subscribe over there. Great channel y'all got going on.
Yeah, and so basically, the chat was, why do Spurs players leave Tottenham and win stuff? Why is that? And then apparently, someone from other clubs, there's other clubs that are talking, other players are talking, and they're saying the reason why players leave Tottenham and win trophies is because of the culture. Nothing else. The players are right. It's not that we recruit badly. It's the fact that the culture is all wrong.
The culture, you said?
The culture.
So you mean like the veterans in our locker room, they don't have the right mentality when it comes to how you handle yourself?
And everything.
So you could say,
everything.
So Ash, you could hypothetically, I think some frequent flyers of United Spurs of America are going to know where I'm going with this, but I guess you could say the people who've been here for over 8 years, 9 years, the way that they handle themselves could be leading to the mentality issue that we face here in the locker room. Is that what you're saying? Let me show you something. If you're Romano coming into the squad, you're any player coming into the squad, and a seasoned veteran is handling himself in this manner.
And you guys never win anything, right? No. Right? Yeah. And you guys.
What do you think? Do we take this club seriously? Are we taking our job seriously? If this man's laughing and thinks it's hilarious that we're losers, am I reading too much into it, or?
I think me personally, I think it starts from the head and it moves all the way down. It filters all the way down. And you saw
it does roll downhill. It's true.
You saw it in a documentary where you said it before. They knock on man's door like boom, boom, boom.
I call them group chat FC. That's my latest determination.
They got
They all got a group chat and they're just like, "Hey Daniel, Conte was mean to me." And then Hugo Lloris at halftime, "Hey Daniel, can you trot down here and get me out of here?" And then he texts him back, "Just tell him it's your back hurting. They'll get you out of there, no problem." It's the mentality, and that's the part that really sticks out for me. And that's why I have that clip on demand like that, because that's something I frequently beat over the head. Is the mentality here at Spurs is so poor and has been so poor that it's acceptable, and now it's hilarious that we don't lose. He's playing into the joke, and when you go into it with the mindset that A, we're losers, B, we never win any trophies, and C, it's hilarious when people point that out because you guys never win anything, right? Like, in no context, it doesn't matter if that's a clip of a segment that was edited. That interaction that I just played is enough that tells me the veterans in this locker room, their mentality isn't right. They're losers. They accept being losers. They're comfortable with their wages and their lifestyle and their position, and they're okay with the new manager comes in. I want to fight for my position. It's always I want to fight for my position. Let me prove myself, Ainge. And he gets to where the captains aren't banned in the second half of the fourth. I'm digressing majorly, but obviously the mentality thing. Ash, I'm very. This is a thing that gets.
Passion, that's what it is. I don't mind. Like, go for it. But for me, it's a mixture. So like, when we needed to add depth, when we were finished second, when we needed to add depth when we were in cup finals, when we needed to add depth in semis, when we had like important games against Chelsea, and Chelsea could look to their bench, or other teams could look to their bench and draw for 1-2 man here and there. We couldn't do that. After 60, 70 minutes, legs get tired, mentality slips, certain players don't turn up. Do you understand? Who do you look to? Everyone's looking around. Your main guys aren't showing any heart. Now what? Do you understand? Other teams can just, draw upon certain players and say, right, okay, I'm going to step up. I'm going to just do this. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But when certain players aren't stepping up, what can you do? We're done for. And so that's been the biggest problem. Depth, the quality of bench, and the players that are on the pitch, they were good enough, but it just came, when it come to that next level and that mentality shift, they never had it. No one really stepped up when you need your top players to stand up. In those finals or those final moments, they weren't doing it. And so we didn't reinvest when we needed to. Champions League final was the biggest time when we needed to reinvest, not just in one or two areas, but the whole squad needed refreshing. We knew these defenders were coming at an end. And the high pressing, the way we press teams, you can only press teams like that for so long. You saw what happened with Liverpool. Liverpool now, last season, they had to make Trent Alexander invert because they were losing that battle with midfield. Their midfield couldn't press in the same way. So they had to bring him in and kind of make a box midfield with Trent coming in. And they lost one of their wing backs because of it. So it takes a toll on your team, it takes a toll on the players. They're not mentally as fresh as the season before. The hunger's not the same. And the training as well. The training is so intense. There's only so much you can keep up with that type of training if you're doing a high press, high intensity type of football. And that's the reason why Ange swaps players like on the 60th minute mark. That's what he does. He swaps those players around, and you won't always see the same team necessarily every game. You might see a mixture. Do you know what I'm saying? A different person, depending on the team that we're facing. So that's the reason why you need a good depth, and it keeps the team hungry, keeps them alive and fighting for places, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
So I big up everyone in the chat. Sorry if I haven't addressed the chat at all very much, but I have started a few questions that I will ask. So I do, if you got any questions, just hit a Q, or you can hit a super chat. We'll get to it right away. But if you hit a Q, like a question, or just a question for Ash specifically, just hit Q, question for Ash or whatever, and I'll start and we'll ask questions here at the end. Big ups to I see that we've been dangling over 107, 105, just under 100. So big up the 100 of you in the house. I see 93 votes, 95 votes, and 71 likes. 25 people by my maths don't want to grab free beer on the way into the party. You want to party, you want to be here drinking the beer, just grab a free case. Doesn't cost nothing, helps out the party being the stream and the algorithm of United Spurs of America. If you want us to grow, hit that like right now if you're watching live or on playback. But big ups to everyone who's tuning in. Again, I like to say I appreciate you. If no one's told you today that they appreciate you, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Ashmatic, as well, for being here, making some time for me. But again, all of y'all in the chat, there's anywhere in the world you could be right now, and you chose to be here with me. So I appreciate that, and that means more to me than I think I can explain to you. But looking at this map here, let me star that. That's a good question, Jay Ashraf, that I have pulled up. Big up DeFarsher. This is Van de Veen versus Tapsoba, and Van de Veen's the pink and Tapsoba is the blue. So if we're just looking at this from a graphing standpoint, and I know a lot of people don't like the statistics, but based on the statistics of Y Scout, this is like a Y Scout type comparison. I don't have Y Scout because it's like 10 grand a year, and I'm not that level of a scout. Until they're paying me over 10 grand to do some scouting, I'm not gonna spend that much on scouting equipment. But this was something I saw on Twitter, comparing Tapsoba to Van de Veen based on, carrying, they look like they're about the same. Aerially, they're about the same. And I know a lot of people have been making a big deal. We've mentioned earlier as well the fact that Romero's not good aerially. Van de Veen's not good. Well, neither is Tapsoba by the looks of this graph, if it's worth anything. But as far as the defensive actions, progressive passes in general, looks like Tapsoba is ahead of that. And I think we've had more of a sample size of Tapsoba. So I would say out of the two, if I needed one to start right now, it would be Tapsoba. But he is a right-footed center back, and that doesn't necessarily solve our left-sided center back issue. Do you see that being a big deal potentially if, say, it was Tosin, not even Tapsoba? Tosin is one of these guys, I think positionally, if you look at his heat map, he occupies a lot of the same areas as Christian Romero. So Tosin, if we brought him in, I would see him as a potential backup for Romero, security for Romero, and or someone to push Romero to be better, because we need someone. I always agree with, like, the players that need to prove something. You need to have someone who's breathing down their neck, hungry, desiring their position on the pitch. That starting 11, they want it and they know they can grab it from you. I think for Richarlison, he wants Harry Kane to be sold because obviously that then puts him in immediate contention for that starting position. But when you look at Solomon, I think he's great. I love that we put him out there on the right for that second game, because you know what, Kulusevski, you need he showed me more all preseason than I've seen from you all last season. That's a little dramatic, but I'm saying, like, we need that. Emerson Royale playing good defensively needs to be there till Pedro Porro knows I need to step up defensively. Christian Romero, he can't be the only one, I'm not singling him out, but if you have someone behind him like Ashley Phillips or a Tosin, I think if we get Phillips, we don't get Tosin, but either one of those, I don't see them coming in and immediately affecting the 11 at our left-sided center back. Now, Tapsoba or Van de Veen, I do think that they do. But I also like Van de Veen for the fact that we could try him out there at the left. If we're having legitimate issues at the left back position, if Udogie can't do it, Reguilon, I don't think he can do it defensively. We saw versus West Ham, Jared Bowen look world class versus Reguilon. He's not good defensively. Going forward, he can link up with Perisic. That was nice. They looked like they had a little something. He also had something with Solomon during the West Ham game. Nice, that's cool. But at the same time, like, you have to get back and be able to defend and have the ability to at least do that. Right. So when I look at Reguilon, I don't see him as that kind of guy. Van de Veen, I think he gives you a little flexibility at certain positions. I guess that kind of answers this question there, Jay.
Yeah, you're looking at Van de Veen. He's come from the school of total football, so he plays in many positions. And obviously, they played him at centre back because of his height and his physicality. I'll be interested to know where he was playing at academy level. Some of these academy boys, they don't always play in their position, but they sometimes move them around. And then I think centre back's the position where the coaches kind of fancy him. The fact that when I've looked at the clips from Y Scout, I've seen a few clips from Y Scout, and the actions that I will look at is him in possession, or him.
Sorry, Daniel. Yeah,
him in possession, or him receiving the ball in tight areas. He's really good. He's really good at receiving the ball. So it almost looks like a midfielder. That's how good he is. He could even play as a 6. That's how highly I rate him in possession. And that's the reason why I questioned, like, where he actually played in the academy, because he's that good on the ball. Defensively, I think Tosin is very front-footed. I think that's the reason why you're seeing him so high in that heat map. He's actually played on as a left back as well. He predominantly plays as a right back because he is right-footed. Obviously, he has a lot of height as well, long-legged, long limbs, a bit like Sarr. Not bad in the air as well, defensively. So it would be a good idea if he did come in to push Romero, because he has the experience. He's got over 3 to 4 seasons with Fulham, so you're adding that as well. In terms of Tapsoba, I know people are quite concerned because he's a right-footed, left-sided centre back, but I think the difference with him is that he kind of has his technique in terms of like receiving the ball and passing the ball. He allows his hips to kind of rotate in a way that it doesn't hinder him from hitting balls first time with his right foot towards either out to the opposite wing or to the same wing. So normally you have a left-sided centre back because you want to play that ball first time. You need to pass that ball first time. And normally if you're right-footed and you receive it on your left, you have to take a first touch on your left and then put it onto your right, which slows it down a little bit. So I think that was what people's concerns were. But you've seen from that map, his passing is exceptional. It doesn't affect him. He's able to play it out to the left flank or the right flank, play it over the top, first time, take a touch. And him also as well, he looks like a defensive mid. He's technically sound. That the only thing they could get on him was the aerial thing. But I said that because it's the volume. If you actually look at the actual data itself, it's the amount of it's the attempted headers that are low. It's not his actual headers that are low. It's his attempted headers that bring down his overall numbers in terms of aerial duels won, if that makes sense. And I'm wondering, is that because the way Bayer who's in the setup, is that because Alonso wants him to do something slightly different? Is it because in the Bundesliga, the ball's not as in the air as much? It's on the deck quite a bit compared to the Premiership. And that's why maybe those statistics are affected a little bit. Or maybe he just doesn't go for their heads. Maybe that's just in his characteristic. Even though I did see him score a goal with his head, and that's Tapsoba I'm talking about. Whereas Micky van der Ven, I've seen the ball bounce, and as a defender, I don't want the ball to bounce. I want you to head that ball before it bounces. Do you know what I'm saying? Or I want you to be brave on the ball. That's like me. If I got a defender behind me, that's what I want. I want to see a confident defender walking up to it and smashing it with his head. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But like you said, because he's young, that can be coached. That's not a big problem. It's not a big issue. But you need to understand, if we're going to give players like that time, then we might not get the results that we favour. For example, if he were to start against Brentford, we might have a bit of a problem. Or we might have a problem against some other teams. But he just needs time. We can't butcher him after 3 or 4 games and that everyone panics. You know how fans are. We're so fickle. Oh, he's no good. Blah, blah, blah. Get rid of him. Fans are quick to compare him to Vertonghen. And I think that's too much pressure for the young lad. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for me, Tapsoba just makes more sense. I would go for that. And I wouldn't be mad at a Tosin Adebayo coming in as backup for Romero to push him on. I still think they will go for Ashley Phillips because he's a prospect. So you could literally either loan him out straight away. You could put him in the academy because he's only 18. So he doesn't necessarily need to be in the first team. I did a review on him, I think 2 weeks ago, and he's also quite front-footed. He steps up. He steps out that line really high up and wins the ball. He's able to dribble with the ball at his feet, with his head up and pick out passes. He can also play in that midfield and be comfortable. And he's not afraid to do like a last-ditch tackle slide, but he likes to stay on his feet. He's not one to dive in. And I think that's what's impressive. I think the most impressive thing about him is his confidence at that age. Again, when the ball's in the air, Ashley's able to header it, bring it down. He's got a good first touch. So he ticks a lot of boxes, even when balls are sprayed across the box. It's one thing I noticed between Ashley Phillips and Micky van der Ven. When I watched Micky van der Ven, Netherlands conceded a goal where I think it was Portugal. They cut a ball across the box, and it wasn't on his side, but it beat the first defender. And I want Micky van der Ven to clean up. If it misses the first defender, I want you there, Micky. So just his awareness, or like a lot of our goals were conceded because our defenders weren't anticipating. We weren't expecting the worst case scenario or the worst case outcome. And that's the reason why if you lose half a yard in the Premiership, you get punished. That's all it is. And so that's one thing I'd criticize Micky van der Ven for, if I'm looking deep at it. But other than that, he's a good defender. He is a good defender. He has got legs on him. He can challenge. He likes to tackle. He's not scared of it.
There are some undeniable qualities that he possesses, I think. And there's definitely a lot of things that he has to improve on but he's very young. And I think those things can come in time. Got some questions here I've started up, and Daniela Zito, don't worry. You mentioned that you had a couple questions earlier. I have starred them, ironically. So I don't know if that's ironically, but subsequently I have starred them. So first question says, hopefully Van de Veen gets a here we go from Romano soon. When do you think that is? Ash, let me ask you, when do you think, are we going to get a here we go tomorrow? Are we going to get a here we go Friday? Is it going to happen this weekend? Is it going to happen after the weekend? Next week, next month, September 1st? What are we
You know what
talking?
it is? It's mad because the price has been. I've heard two different journalists quote two different prices. One journalist is saying 50 million euros. That threw me off. I was like, huh? I thought it was going for 30 million. So again, I know how Spurs operate. They don't want to pay asking price. They want to pay the price that they want to pay. So then that makes me think, ooh, are we going to draw this out? But the fact that so many journalists are coming out saying it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done, I've got a feeling Friday. But I've seen Gary Jacobs now come out and say 40 million euros, like close to 40 million euros. So that's more in the range that was quoted before. So if that's true, what Gary Jacobs is saying, then I expect before the Shakhtar game.
So that would be great. Jazz Fusion says Monday. And Defarsher says 30 million pounds. So maybe it's a matter of 50 million euros and that he comes out to maybe like 36 million pounds or whatever. Maybe that's what we did agree. Maybe we did finally meet on that price tag. I'm trying to remain hopeful here. I'm trying to grab onto any last string that I can. The poll, the temperature here, 38% says exciting and brought hope back, and another 38% says hoping it's true, but I'm skeptical. And then 4% says doubt it's true, we will mess it up. And another 20% says recycling news for the fans and Earth. I put Earth because recycling is good. And it's always good to just throw the word recycle out there so that way people can recycle. But 105 votes, 83 likes, 22 of y'all want to party again. But either way, free world, free universe. You are free to do that. You're free to not like the video, be a hating ass motherfucker. Guys, it's all good. You can be whoever you want to be in this world. But Jazz Fusion says Monday. I really think I have no hope. I'm thinking deadline day we'll get Van de Veen. We'll go 3 matches with Eric Dyer and concede hopefully around 10 goals, and then we'll say, okay, we have to get somebody in. But honestly, there was also a comment that Defarsher said, I'm thinking 5 years down the road, what if we have an Ashley Phillips, Micky Van de Veen partnership and the center backs? There's 2 mountains of players and I don't know. I think that we could be cooking low key. We could be cooking something nice with that. But I guess it does remain to be seen. Another question I got is Daniela as well says, may I ask how many more signings you guys realistically see us making? I'm thinking Van de Veen, Ashley Phillips, and Kessie. Now, we haven't talked about Franck Kessie very much this show at all, but what's your take here? Do you see us getting these 3 deals over the line? And if so, surely some players got to go the other way, right?
Yeah, so I think that basically the rumor is that Højbjerg has accepted personal terms. It's not official, but it's just a rumor. At Atletico Madrid, I look at him and he's like Simeone's twin. That's how Simeone used to play. He used to play just like him. So I can understand why Atletico want him. I think he wants to go. I think he wants to play Champions League football. I think after that Newcastle game, it got really like sour, really poisoned. Apparently, there was like a massive bust up with Skip. Skip was calling people out. That whole ring of fire. I don't know, that little team, that friendship group, whatever. There was like a little bust up. And I know at the Southampton game, I saw like there was a footage where he was, telling players off in that kind of in that little bit where they walk out. And then obviously we conceded, and he was part of the reason why we conceded, ironically. But I think like I heard someone like Mount, was it Mount or no, it was Rice, sorry. He's like, nobody likes you anyway. And I was like, whoa, where's that come from? Do you understand? So I've got a feeling that, not to say he's not happy there now, but I feel like there was like a little bust up maybe during the season. And I think from then, I think his writings were on the wall. So yeah, possibly he could go for 30 mil. And if he was to go for 30 mil, it is a profit because I think we bought him in for 13 to 15, maybe 16 million from Southampton. So in Levy's eyes, that's a profit. So he's going to be happy. Whether people think he's a 30 million player, some people would think he's worth 40 or 50.
You're talking about Højbjerg.
I'm talking about Højbjerg here, yeah. So basically,
did have a little something on him.
If he basically goes, then I think Kessie comes in. And I think Kessie comes in because Barcelona definitely need the money. They need the money because they're in financial straits. I think in 15 months' time, something is going to come. It's going to hit them hard, and they're going to have to raise funds for that financial fair play. People are thinking, why hasn't it happened already? But apparently it's in 15 months, something's going to happen, a massive court case. So they need to get rid of players, even though Kessie's got another 3 to 4 years on his contract. I think his contract ends on either 2026 or 2027, if I'm not right or wrong. But yeah, basically.
Well, I do know he denied us for Barcelona back in the day. I do know that much.
So did Traore, though. So did Traore. So,
Yeah, that's true. I did forgive Traore. I got to forgive Kessie. You're right. Good call. Thank you, Ash, keeping me on point. I appreciate that.
All right. That's what I'm here for. But listen, it happens in football, things change. The grass isn't always greener. And apparently Kessie came out and said he wants a new challenge, Premiership. He's been looking at them. Obviously, we've been linked with him. So we've obviously tried to contact him before. Maybe he's seeing the Prem as a different type of challenge. He's already been in Italy. He's already played for AC Milan. Juventus is horrible. Their situation is similar to Barcelona. They need to get rid of players. They've got messy court cases hanging over their heads. Do you, as a player, want to go back there? And I'm not saying Juve are AC's rivals, and the fans would go mad at him if he went to Juve. But Premiership might be a viable option for him. It might be, and if Højbjerg goes the other way, it might actually happen, because I think that's how we operate, 1 in, 1 out situation. And Højbjerg was a mainstay of the. People could say, what about Sarr? What about Skip? What about Divine? Which is a fair point, because Divine obviously is one of our academy boys and just known to work with young players, and all 3 of those players are young. But you've got to remember that he's coming into a situation where they've got not a lot of experience, and now you've got an opportunity to buy a player that has a high level of experience. Now, Sono comments obviously that the only thing with Kessie now is that he could be going to he will be going to AFCON. Is it AFCON? The African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, Kessie will be gone for that. So will Basuma.
So will Sarr.
So will Sarr, yeah.
And we've been linked with Auburn. So
how long is it? 8 weeks?
I thought it was 4 weeks.
I thought it was 6 to 8 weeks. They could be gone as little as 6 weeks and as long as 8 weeks.
How far they get into the competition.
Yeah.
So potentially that is something where we could be a little bit light in that midfield. But I was having the debate on my show last night, and Marlon was saying, from South UK Boys, shout out there. But Marlon was saying, oh, we're going to have too many players if we get Kessie. If Kessie comes in and then Bentancur comes back, then what happens? Do you know what I mean? And my argument was, if we have Bentancur, we've got Madison, and you've got potentially Skip there, then really you kind of need those players to hang about. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I don't think the squad's too bloated in midfield. If you've got those players going to African Cup of Nations, you might need 1 or 2 players to hang around for a bit. Okay. So it's interesting. Everyone's got a different point of view. For me, at that price point, so apparently it's between 15 million. I've heard 15 million quoted, and I've also heard 25 million, and I've also heard 20 million. But either way, 25 mil. Are you mad for Kessie? I think you've got to do it. I think you got to do that. He's a.
That's pretty cheap. We were talking about 45 when we were trying to get him from Milan. So, big up Lazy 8 in the house. AFCON dates are January 13th to February 11th. So 2 days less than a month. That's 4 weeks. Right?
It's 4 weeks. Yeah, it's 4 weeks.
So maybe I'm being dramatic then.
So maybe because I think FA Cup. When's FA Cup start? Or is that a League Cup around that time? Either way, I think you blood some of the youngsters in. Around that time in Skip or Divine, one of those players can come in.
So we talked about some of this. Sorry if I cut you off. Was there something else you were going to say?
No. Just I'm a big fan of Kessie. That's all. If Ndembele is out the door, which looks like it, because
You sold Jay Ashraf on Kessie on your analysis that you did. So I had this starred. Just first up, big up you and the channel and your analysis when you do your player profile stuff. I enjoy it. I know a lot of people do as well. So big shout out to you for doing those things. It's been a few times asked, do you think that in the midst of all this, Ashley Phillips might be tidied up, could be potentially for he's 18, he could be for our U20s. Do we still get Tosin to come in? Do we get 3 center backs like I've originally cried for? Van de Veen, Phillips, and Tosin. And it's just a little bit less beefy than I expected, but could turn out to be a blessing in disguise, especially, like I said, mentioned earlier, Van de Veen and Ashley Phillips in 5 years could be a nice little duo, 26, 24-year-old, and they're both, what, sitting 6'4", 6'5", sitting pretty with 4 years of Ainge ball, hopefully. Cross your fingers we get that much of it. But, you know, there are some things to be excited about, I think. I feel like there's a lot of...
Small. I think no one wants to get ahead of themselves. You want to keep your feet planted on the floor, because we all saw what happened pre-season against West Ham. That looked like a winnable game, and we managed to get cut open. So like the jury's still out, and obviously what happened, even against the Sailors, they scored against us, and we went 1-0 down at first. The glaring, obvious things are still there. Even if centre-backs were to come in, they still need to kind of get used to the system. A lot of them aren't coming from the Premiership, so they have to get used to the league, the language, etc., their teammates, blah, blah, blah. And you just know with the Premier, it's so competitive. It's not like before where you just had the top 4, maybe the top 5 or 6. Like now you've got teams like Aston Villa, you've got even Brentford, like Brighton, obviously being there, doing their thing. There's no easy team. Fulham can come in to take points off you. That's how mad it is.
That's crazy. There's over 260 of y'all in the house. Shout out Never a Foul right now for the raid. Y'all come in and y'all bless us with the viewers. Big ups to all the people who just joined in. As you can see, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. We're talking Tottenham. This is United Spurs of America. I've got Ash the other way. I've got Ash on this side of me from Southview Coys. Let me hide this comment so you can see. Southview Coys, there's his channel. This is United Spurs of America. Welcome in. 2 great guys holding it down. But big up to Never a Foul. Like the likes. He's saying to like it. Again, I'm just going to say this. The boys over there at Never a Foul wouldn't send you here if I wasn't a good people. If I didn't have immaculate vibes about myself, I don't even think Ash Maddock would be sitting here with me. So I've got a lot of people in the, that can vouch. Welcome if you're new. Please do hit that like and subscribe. Bring content every single day, or at least 5 to 6 days a week. Maybe take 1 day off, just for posterity's sake. But big up Never a Foul and the boys over there sending the redirect my way. Do appreciate y'all. And for the I think we have about 100 of y'all before the raid. If y'all don't know Never a Foul, it's a great channel. They cover pretty much the entire Premier League. They even dabble a little bit in like outside stuff. I know they got Judge Mo out there. He's an Inter Milan fan, but they're very well educated and well versed. They got a slew of talent that come on and really great content over there. So thank you, Ben, for plugging their channel as well. Go sub to Never a Foul if you haven't. I've been over there, so I can vouch that they're good people. Ash, have you done a feature over there on Never a Foul? We got to get you over there. They're gonna love you. You probably never come back here because they'll keep you so busy over there. But big up the boys over there at Never a Foul for the raid. We were just talking. What were we talking? Very distracting when I see like 250 people in the chat. That's new. That's a nice number over here. So big ups everyone who's sticking around. Even if you came in, hit a like and left. Big up yourself. Keeping the vibes immaculate. I had another question starred. Let's see, from DJ Green Alert, but DJ Green Alert went to bed earlier. But says, question: Jacob and Ash, hypothetically, if Enoch was planning to sell up, would it be feasible to assume Lewis saying sell Kane and he banks the money and then sells? I'll go ahead and start this one off. I think Lewis and the club have distanced themselves from each other since this insider trading news really broke. So I don't see the Lewis thing really affecting us going forward. I think they were smart enough to transfer that. Maybe they had wind that this might be coming down a year ago when he transferred over. Wasn't it last summer, Ash, that he technically transferred his shares into the family trust, so he's not a direct owner anymore. He can just so it's a little bit of a technicality. He's going to get away with it, and I think how much money you have really dictates how long you can how long you can drag these court cases out. Joe Louis probably won't see the inside of a courtroom for about 2 years. He paid his bail money. They probably set the court date in 6 months or a year from then, and the lawyers that he's got, I'm sure, will be pushing it on. Did you have anything you wanted to add to this, Ash?
No, I just think it's separate. I mean, whether we spend, I mean, if Kane was to hypothetically go, because we don't know, he might stay. But if Kane was to go, even if we didn't spend all of that Kane money, I still think, I just think it will get reinvested in the club some other way. I mean, it's hard to say if we don't spend it on players where that money goes, and if fans remember, like, every window that happens, if we pick up new players, whatnot. But I still think, it's separate. Them men are billionaires, man. They got bread. They don't need that. That's chump change to them. Like, if we're being real, Lewis has got yachts, millionaires. They ain't got to do all of that. They ain't got to do
Hey, we just hit 100 likes. Big up to all y'all hitting the like, the 100 of you. Big ups. I like it when the video, a live stream, can hit over 100 likes. That means a lot. Also, do partake in the poll. Those are 2 free things that we like to do over here. On this channel, Ash, I think you know this. I never ask in the poll. I never ask, have you liked the video, yes or no, or something, a variation of that. I always try to ask how you're feeling, or what are your thoughts, or, something that we could genuinely, like, all come together and get moist about, or just be genuinely happy about. So these are the kind of vibes we bring over here, man. We don't like to I like to have serious football debates. I like to have serious football discussions, but also like to sprinkle some fun, because I think as a Spurs fan, if you don't laugh at some of the stuff, you're going to go crazy, man.
Trust me, dog.
Big up Ace Adonis. Big up everyone in the chat hanging out with us. Still over 200 of y'all. Yeah, big up Beer Talk. Subscribe to Never a Foul and Ash. What a lad. That's what we do it for. I always say, show some love, show some support, even if they are people who have differing opinions than you. It's always good to get the full scope of things, because I think, in any scenario, there's this side, and the truth really lies in the middle. And I think a diverse amount of channels, they really give you that. So shout out Southview Coys, shout out Never a Foul. Do appreciate y'all. Craig, the Gecko Man, Ainge will go into hyperdrive in the EP. I really think the mysteriousness of Ainge Postecoglou is going to take some people by surprise. Now, if you're not a Tottenham fan, and you're like me, who is a Tottenham fan, I didn't know much about Ainge coming into it. I've seen sample sizes. I saw the Celtic Cup final, or whatever, not Celtic Cup, but the Scottish Cup that he won before we ended up plucking him away from Celtic. But so I don't have the full scope of what I think he's going to do, and I don't believe that Premier League teams have enough of what they know he's going to do. So game planning against Ainge Postecoglou, I think, could be tricky, at least these first 3 to 6 matches, I would say. Once you have 5, I'm going to say over 300 minutes of game footage of what their tactics and what they're looking, you give it to the best managers and some of the even assistant managers around this league, the best league in the world, in my opinion, they're going to be able to break it down, find out what you're doing, and game plan for it. So I think really our best shot at getting some good points on the board early on in the season is early. It is the first three matches, I would say.
Jacob, just to jump in. Me personally, I think it's about the quality of player. Me personally. If you look back to last season, nothing against Højbjerg or Skip for that matter, because in their own rights, they are quality players. But the way we played was almost like a bottom 10 club. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Doesn't matter who we came against, we sat back quite a bit. So when you sit back, you're further away from the goal. Mm-hmm. And the type of players we had, we only had 2 midfielders. So teams knew all you had to do with Spurs is press them. Push up high on them, they're not going to like it. And for whatever reason, we couldn't beat the press. We couldn't beat the press because we only had 2 men in midfield, and they sat back low as well. And they're not quite technical. So what happened a lot of the time was the ball kept coming back. And then Kane's like, "Bro, where's the service?" Like, well, go on. I can't see no ball. So he would drop back. drop back to find the ball. And that's the reason why everything went through Kane in a nutshell. Do you know what I'm trying to say? A lot of the style of play we played was direct football, like counter pressing, counter attack football, boom, 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 straight over the top, 2 or 3 passes and we're in on goal. Son's running onto balls and whatnot. So that's how it was. That's why the Kane and Sutton partnership over the last couple of years between Mourinho and Conte has been so successful, because that's how we used to win games, right? But now we're having a team that is with the ball. Like you saw against West Ham, how much possession we had. We had like over 70%, and the Sailors as well. So now, not against every team, but for most of the teams, even when Ange had Celtic and he played Man City and he played all other teams like Real Madrid, he still had a lot of the ball. Whether they finish the chances is another debate. But the difference is the quality of player. If you've got players in that midfield that can hold on to the ball and are not afraid of turning, looking forward, and then either dribbling or passing the ball.
Players who can turn? What?
Play that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on now.
I want to pass it back, it's safe, and then I want to point out that defender, do this, like if you've got a player that just constantly wants it because they're not scared about getting pressed, and you're higher up the pitch, then it might be different. However, there's other clubs that play gun-ho, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play this season. I'm talking about Liverpool, because apparently after his last press conference, I think they played Bayern Munich, was it? And Bayern Munich just won 4-3.
Kim Min-jae with a beautiful ball slices through the entire field to find, I don't know who he hit. That doesn't matter. He did finish the goal, but that pass from Kim Min-jae, holy cow.
This over, because you're going to get similar things. But Kim Min-jae, we could have had, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Let's not cry over that spilt milk. I hear you. Right, boom. Back to what I'm saying. Klopp come back out fighting. He's saying, it reminded me of Keegan. It's mad. He was like, we're going gun-ho. Watch next season. And I said, hey, yo, bing bong. Hey, listen, Liverpool might be scary. They're going to go all out.
You think he might go 4 up top? You think he could see? This is something I've thrown out, because they do have a lot of forwards who are not of the quality of maybe like the Mane that they used to have. Yeah, but if you have Salah on the left, say 2 strikers, Gakpo and Nunez, and then on the left, Luis Diaz.
Diaz is looking like a problem. People forgetting about him. Don't see.
That's what I'm. He's going to create so many different channels of space out there on that left-hand side that I think if you had 2 strikers up top, and you even if Mo Salah says cuts in underneath them, you have so many different options you could do there with their attackers. They could be dangerous.
It's a Spurs podcast, but we'll just divert a little bit. He said, if they score 4, we're scoring 5. I said, listen, it's going to be a mad season. It's going to be a funny old season, because obviously they've changed the midfield now. They've got youngsters. They've got McAllister, who's better at pressing. Played on right and knows how to do that. He's played as a 6 before, but he's playing further up the pitch. Then they've got this other guy, can't pronounce the name for life. I've done a review on him as well. That guy from RB Leipzig. Basically, he plays like an 8 as well, but he's good at pressing. So now they've got 2 midfielders, as before. You know, they never had those midfield. The midfield was tired, basically. But they've done what they should have done, was freshen up the midfield. They've done that, but with technical players. So, yeah, it might be interesting to see how things plan out. We're not the only team that are going to be on that kind of crazy ball. See what I'm saying? So I know, like, we're all watching Ange ball, we could do this, we could do that, and fans are getting excited. But there's teams that are further along as well in that
absolutely
build. You know what I'm saying? That Brighton, they're obviously further along. You've got Newcastle, they're in their project. They've got Tonali.
Villa's still doing business, links with Tyler Adams now.
It's crazy, yo. Like, trust me, this Premiership, it's not, and that's why I'm saying I'm keeping my feet on the ground. I'm not getting too crazy. I'm waiting till the final. Was it the 31st of August or the 1st of September? Whenever that window closes.
31st at midnight. So
yeah.
That's like 4 p.m. my time. It's like 4 p.m. my time.
Yeah, you're good. So it's going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure you're going to be live when that's happening. I'm pretty sure it's going to be
there's probably going to be about 50 channels live. I probably won't be, just because, you know what I mean? There's going to be so many eyes going on there. Yeah, It's interesting. But real quick, I just want to say shout out Jules. That's a new name in the chat. Anyone new in the chat, tell me where you're tuning in from. I love finding out where the chatters are from. It's something that's why I got into this whole YouTube thing. I wanted to meet people like Ash. I wanted to meet people like you, Jules, and the people, the regulars in the chat. I want to meet people like y'all, hear different opinions from around the world, different cultures, different vibrations. That's what it's all about, in my opinion. So Jules, big up yourself. Just got in from a long, stressful work night. Loving this stream. Nice one, guys. Hitting the spot. Big up, Jules. Glad that you're here. Glad that you're here as well. L says big up, Jacob and Ash. Great convo. Big up. And then here's the link again from the super mod himself, Ben Kaufman of the Coffee Company. Little plug there for his channel. There's the link for Ash and his buddies Marlon and Haz. There's their channel. You can help them get to 1K. They're fantastic content. Y'all got some great guests. Y'all go all over the place. I'm surprised y'all haven't hit like 5K yet.
No, man, we're 80 off 1K.
80?
Yeah, 80 off 1K.
There's 193 people still watching. So if half of y'all go over and subscribe to Southview Coys, they hit 1K tonight, and then you go to them and you say, hey, we have to plug United Spurs of America for helping us get over the line. How about that?
100%. 100%. When you on, if you were to hit on tonight, I say, listen, you need to get
you hear that? Let's see if we could get him there. Yeah, big ups everybody who is tuned in, locked in. Got another question. I have stardom. Don't think I've forgotten about y'all just because we got the big old raid of people. Adrian Shruga says, question, how do you think our defense will cope as the incomings lack experience?
So it's interesting because you're going to answer it, I'm going to answer it, but I'm just it's a great debatable question because we've got fullbacks now. So fullbacks are basically defenders. They're no longer wingers. Like, even though in the AND system, they do bomb forward quite a bit. However, these fullbacks sit in front of the defensive mid, the 6. So we're compact in the middle. Whereas before, we were compact in the middle, but we had the wing backs that would stop any attacks coming wide. So it'll be interesting to see what happens down those wings. Like when it comes against teams that have like wing forwards or inside forwards, you know what I'm trying to say, that have a lot of pace or physicality. Like Aston Villa got Diaby, Manchester United, they've got Anthony, or would you say Rich? What's his name? I forgot their striker now. Man United striker. Rashford, sorry, yeah.
They just Højlund, apparently.
Højlund's
allegedly.
Now, we just spoke about Liverpool with Salah. Do you know what I'm saying? And
no, I understand what you're doing because it's the logical, practical thing to do, which is to look at what we're doing in comparison to these others. But like, I agree with you.
I'm just saying defensively, like it's gonna be a lot for us to take in because our fullbacks have to protect our centre backs now massively, especially that we're playing higher up, and teams are gonna think.
I mean, there's a perfect example when we played the Sea City Base, Singapore City Lion Sailors, whatever their fucking name was, I don't even know. But there was a moment where Ben Davies in the first half gave the ball up. All right, so that's the center back letting down the other center back and the fullback, and then Udogie failing to clean up for him.
This is it.
So it's the same thing whether it's the fullback or the center back making that mistake and having to have that responsibility of this person having your back. And this again is going to tie into my whole Romano thing. Why so many people, I think. Okay, I'm not even going to go into the Romano thing because I was going to open a whole different can of worms. And honestly, I'm not trying to have that conversation. We're here on an hour and a half. I'm not trying to have that conversation about Romano right now. But don't worry, he's going to prove all the doubters wrong. Don't you worry. Want to run through a couple of the locations from people checking in. This is a new name, Bardistas. I don't know how to say your name. Cambridge, UK. Big up, Cambridge. Good head, like she came from Cambridge. That's my shout out, Wheezy. MK Kaiguri from Nairobi. Very cool. I don't know where Nairobi is Is that near Egypt?
Yeah.
I don't know where Nairobi is, but that is really cool, MK. Big up yourself right now. That's very cool. Never talked to someone from Nairobi. I've only heard of Nairobi in music. I heard someone talking about swimming the rivers of Nairobi in a song. Or I think it was Currency, I believe, said that. So something like that. Shout out Nairobi. Daniel E's watching from Milton Keys. Big up, Daniel. Eco Echo after midnight here. Night all. Good night, Eco. Big ups. Thanks for tuning in. New here. Great chat, UK. Big up, Howard Vale. I see you in here. Jules is from the UK. Big up, Jules. Ash deserves the subs. Great channel. Absolutely. Go help them get over to 1K right now. Still got 190 y'all. Again, half of you. The link, I'm sure Ben will pop it into the chat in just 1 second. It's also in the description of this video. Just click the description. It says Ashmatic channel. It is a blue thing that says Southview Coys. Click that. Opens up a new window. And then when you do that, just hit subscribe. Help them get over to 1K. Very, very talented group of men over there. So Phil Coy says, big up Jacob and Ashmatic, great host and channel with a great panelist. Big up Phil, appreciate the love. Enjoyed last night's breakdown, Ash. All some for Orban renewal. All for some Orban renewal. Gift Orban, privately, I've talked with Michael, the other guy who runs United Spurs of America with me. We've talked privately, and I've was going on and on about Gift Orban because I watched him one conference league game and I was like, who the hell was that? And then the next hat trick, youngest player ever to score a hat trick in a European competition. Yes. And the fastest, youngest and the fastest to get to a hat trick in a European competition. Put some respect on this man's name. Now, my fear, though, I was talking to him, hyping him up to my buddy Michael. And then the quote came out that Gift Orban said, I don't want to go to Arsenal because they're some losers and they're not ambitious. They're not trying to win. And I was like, hell yeah. But then I was like, wait a minute. That probably means he wouldn't. That means he's not coming to Spurs. So my initial thought was like, hell yeah, you tell him. But then I was like, damn, he didn't even mention us. Like, we weren't even in the conversation. He says, yeah, I want to play for title winners and challengers like United, Liverpool, and City. So he kind of put it, I don't know if that was just his agent, you know what I'm talking about, punching up above his weight, maybe bench pressing a little more than he thought he could at the gym. But you know what? It put his name out there, and now again he's resurfaced as a potential target for Tottenham Hotspur. Real quick, before I go to the other comments, do you think that it's even a chance if we're in the race? If no one else is in for him, can we sweep in and maybe be the first Premier League team that he goes to? Or do you think it's more likely he goes to someone else before coming to us or elsewhere?
Apparently, newsflash, Spurs were trying to keep this one quiet. They were trying to keep this one quiet.
Gift Orban?
Yeah, they were trying to keep it quiet. They are upset that this one slipped out. This is one they wanted done regardless if Kane was here or not. So they've been scouting this brother. I'm telling you, they've been looking at him. They know about his ability, and he keeps flaring up. People keep bringing him up. You know, channels talk about him. Man United were looking at him. They sent scouts over there. Napoli sent scouts over there. So he's no stranger to these big clubs. They've been alerted. They've been looking at him. Even Barcelona are looking at him. Yeah, the price.
But that's my fear. If these other, surely when we get to a conversation, when we talk about clubs sitting in a cafeteria table setting, right? And you got over here Real Madrid, Barcelona, your Milans, City, Liverpool, United. Where are we squeezing in at that table? I don't know. I don't think so. As much as I love Spurs and I want to be delusional positive,
you know what it is?
I don't know we're in that conversation.
You know what it is? It's all relative. It depends on who bids for him, you know? At the end of the day, there could be interest. How many players are we interested? But how many players do we actually move on? So it all depends on who puts the bid down and who's serious. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, how long we've been looking at these defenders? Haven't you not been worried that Chelsea could be looking at one of our top targets and just come in and swoop in? So it's about who's serious, who's putting in the actual bids, who's going to take the risk. Because let's face it, he's only had one season. So that's a risk in itself. Do these top clubs want to take the risk and swoop in on them and have that gamble?
I do. I'm down.
But to be fair, no,
Højlund.
Højlund. They just decided, because I think it was between him and Orban, and they just decided to go with Højlund. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Who knows, man? But
big up, Daniel.
I think you can have a little bit of optimism. The fact that we've been looking at him for a while.
Have they dubbed him the Nigerian Nightmare? Says Jazz Fusion. Jazz Fusion says the Nigerian Nightmare. Is that what they've been dubbed? I thought that was Victor Osimhen.
Is it?
I thought that's who they were dubbed, the Nigerian Nightmare. But big up Irish Hotspur. Big up Dave. Says big up panel in chat. 10 days to go. 10 day. Is it really? Oh, 10 days until the season starts? What's going on in 10 days?
Apparently, we're looking at a striker. Is a 19-year-old striker called Veliz. There's so many rumors coming out. I'm just gonna have to do so many videos. But yeah, Veliz. Apparently, we're looking at him.
10 days until the season starts. That's what it is. I just looked. Brentford's in 11 days from now. 10 days for y'all over there in the UK. So big up wherever you're tuning in. Again, big up yourself right now. Hit the like if you don't mind. Really does help the algorithm. Really helps what we're doing here over here on the channel. So big up yourself. But big up, Dave. Good to see your name in the chat each and every time.
Yeah, apparently looking at this 19-year-old striker Veliz. I'm not sure what club he's from. I don't know if it's from. I don't know if it's from Turkey, but yeah, we're looking at another striker again. Loads of strikers we're being linked with. All the strikers we're being linked with are all young. So and they're trying to say it's not tied with Kane. So that's the reason why there's been so much talk on Brennan Johnson. There's been talks on who else? There's a few other young strikers we're looking at as well, but they're all like 20, 21, that type of age. But it's like my boy Sugar said the other day. It's interesting because what does that mean for our prospects in the fact of Scarlett? You know, what does that mean for Scarlett? And they showed a clip of Scarlett as well, banging a goal. Funny enough, do you think Scarlett has a shout? Or
for me, Scarlett, he started off great in a league below us, right? With Portsmouth was their name. Yeah. Again, he started out great, but then he kind of fizzled out. I think they tried him in a new position. He just wasn't quite picking it up. I think he needs another loan. I don't see him. I don't want him on the bench. I don't want us to. I don't know. I say with Parrott, I'm looking to sell. With Scarlett, I'm looking to loan. I don't want to say Scarlett can't yet, but he needs to go be the main man at a lower league and show that he can bear that weight, that burden of being the target man. Because quite frankly, if we throw him in, if Kane leaves and he's Richarlison's backup, that is an atrocious move by us because we're doing what we did when Jose was here. I mean, we're talking Vinicius and Scarlett. What are we doing here? Where are we going? So, yeah, man. For me, he's just not there yet. I love the kid. He is our star boy. He will forever be our star boy until he's a grown man. But I don't know. I just don't think he's there yet. 10 days until Kane stays for another season.
For you? If in the ideal world, who would you have to start up top in the ideal world? And you can say Kane leaves, Kane stays, or you can have a Kane replacement. It's up to you.
You leave. I mean, Mbappe, when he was linked with, I'll take Mbappe. How about that? But if you want something realistic, I would say if the situation, I want Kane. I don't buy into this narrative that, yes, he has been clogging up the alleys, so to speak, with Madison so far. They haven't, but Kane is a world-class footballer. You cannot convince me that this man, with his talent, his football IQ, that he can't adapt to whatever Ainge is doing. I don't believe that for a second. I just think it's a matter of fitness, a matter of sharpness, and just time. I mean, when we look at when we played West Ham, the veterans had been checked in for about a total of 12 days. And that's not 12 training days. That's 12 days since they said, hey, Ainge, very nice to meet you. So it's going to take some time until we really see what this looks like. But in a perfect world, I'm saying give me Kane. But if Kane's gone and we're going the cheap route, I'd take Sonny down the middle. I think he might thrive. If Sonny can get the amount of chances in the box that Richarlison got, and I know Sonny can time his runs better than that. I'm just saying that position is still up for grabs, and someone's got to take it. If Kane's not here, Sonny can do it. I have full confidence in that. But yeah, in a fantasy world, give me Mbappe. In a realistic world where Kane stays, give me Kane. I think he can adapt. If Kane leaves and we're going cheap, give me Sonny down the middle, and let's figure out someone on the left. I would have taken, if that was the case, I would have taken Alan Saint-Maximin for 35, put him on the left, or Harvey Barnes for 40, whatever. I mean, again, this is all hypothetical. But what about you? What are you saying, Ash?
It's a hard one. Like, you know what? Funny enough, I don't think Kane presses as well as Richarlison, if I'm being honest. His dynamism in winning that ball back is just not the same. When I watched the videos again, I watched the West Ham one 3 times, and I watched the Sailor one. I watched that twice, and I was just that's all I was looking at. How was Kane pressing? How is he leading that line? And that's something that I think he needs to work on if he can, if his ankles can hack it. And I know that caused him a few injuries before when he was on the Poch. However, and this is a big however, and Kane has played as a box striker before because that's what he used to do on the Poch. So, yeah.
But there was something I heard. I was watching the fantastic threesome of Sean, Henry, and Sava, and I don't know which one of them brought it up, but they mentioned that, and I'm just going to provide the counterpoint here that they brought up when this got brought up, that he used to do this same very thing for Pochettino. Sonny and Kane were different athletes in different stages in their career when they were flying under Pochettino. So it is a little bit of that. They will need to adapt how they play to the. But when you talk about Son, when you talk about Harry Kane, these are top-notch, intelligent footballers. They don't reach where they've been if they don't have an intelligence behind the physical package. And I think sometimes that maybe helps the likes of a player like Kane, who isn't the fastest. You've got to be smarter if you be the smarter guy if you're not the fastest or the quickest. Yeah. You can't turn the quickest. Will be smarter. Know positionally what better suits you, right? And so I think that he will wholeheartedly. I have no doubt in my mind that Harry Kane, if he wants to be here and he plays for Brentford and he commits to the thing, like we're talking about, not even signing a contract. I'm talking about just plays for us and buys in. And I mean, look at the shift. Bayern have made themselves look like fools. He's said, or allegedly, he's embarrassed with the way that Bayern have gone about this. And then also allegedly today, he was willing to spend 20 mil. I think that's bollocks. I don't buy into it. But what are we saying here? Is Kane? We're leading into the conversation I think can drag on for hours, but
yeah. I'll be quick with it. I see my team. If Kane stays, like Maddison just needs to learn. If Kane drops in, Maddison, you need to run in behind. That's all. And I feel like with Cooley not being on form, Son come on the right hand side and be the inside forward that we know you can be and you have been. Don't stay out wide. Do that inside diagonal and let Solomon play on the left and hang out wide and let him do that 1v1 and be that kind of winger, so to speak. So then you've got the 3 to 4 different roles, attacking wise. And then one of the fullbacks can bomb into the box, be that extra body. And, you know, at times Romano can add a surprise and jump in and get in the end of a cross from Solomon and score a header, whatnot. There's so many goals that could be created with this team, even with Kane in.
Absolutely.
If Kane was to go, and we had someone else in, right? And I'm saying, like, I want competition for Richarlison because for me, Richarlison needs to be a lot more clinical. I see him, he leans back a lot, he falls over a lot, his balance isn't there, his composure isn't there. That's what I need. I need a player with composure. Gift Orban's got great composure and bravery, by the way. Really do like him. But if we need a mainstay, I personally like this guy. And I've said it in my stream before many a times. I don't think he'll come, but because he's too much money. But Kolo Muani, the reason being, I genuinely think...
Kolo Muani from Frankfurt?
Yeah, I genuinely think we've been missing that scary pace since Lennon and Bell, those days. That's when teams used to fear Tottenham Hotspur. It wasn't that we were just fast. We were technical in the middle with players like your Modric, you know what I'm saying? Or when we had Dembele, you know, Musa Dembele, he was technical. But at times, we had players that when we wanted to counterattack, we could. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And it's not what we're just relying on Son and maybe Solomon with pace. But I'm talking about running in behind because Solomon's quick with the ball at his feet. But I'm talking about blistering pace, in behind, on the shoulder, scaring teams, making teams push back because they're worried about this guy here. Like, oh my goodness, we got to think about Muani because 1v1, he's a demon. Off the ball, he's a speed merchant, and he can play centre forward, so he can occupy left wing forward.
Are we saying baby Mbappe?
You know
Are we
what?
saying Baby
Came
Mbappe
on,
Jr. maybe
remember, he came on. Remember when France
for
needed an answer?
Argentina? The goal that never was.
The goal never was, but he did score a goal in the semi-final to get them into the
Oh,
final.
that is true. That is, yeah. Lest we
So he
forget.
looked at it two ways. But again, he's on the way up, in my opinion. He's 24. He's only going to get better. And I think Ange is good at picking players up and just improving them. And I think that's one for the future, one that we can bring in right now. He's ready. Remember, Son came from Bayer Leverkusen. This guy's coming from Frankfurt. They're both coming from the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have that athlete pace, that energy pace. So if Son does drop off, he's the new kid to come in now.
If anything that you can get from the Bundesliga, it's a forward with some pace. I know that much.
We look at Haaland. Look at Haaland. Haaland's a great example. This guy's quicker than Haaland.
I mean, Haaland, Diaby, Werner. Say what you will about Werner's finishing, but he's a pace merchant, no doubt. MK's offering us Lukaku. They're trying to give us Lukaku. Says I think it's MK's a Chelsea fan, so they're trying to give us Lukaku. I don't want Lukaku. I love this comparison right here. Big up Scott M. I haven't seen you in the chat, but big up, or maybe I haven't. I've skipped it on an accident, but sorry, Scott. Big up the YouTube chat member. I love this. Big shout out Hotspur Hippie as well. Love that channel. But this comment right here stood out to me. Alfred Oscarson, big up, new name in the chat. Hope you're keeping well. If you're new, again, tell me where you're tapping in from. But this is a great comparison. Kane is Larry Bird of football. He is, I would say, in the sense of like their talent level to the league, like they're phenomenal, but they're not like the Steph Curry pulling up from half court. It's not the MJ hitting you with the crossover, turnaround, spin, jumper. It's not the Kobe driving it at you defensively, maniac. It's Larry Bird. Perfect. This is perfect. The best way. That is great, Alfred. Thank you for that. First time I've ever seen this name in the chat, and it come in with a killer comment. That's great. Let's see. I got some more.
Go on.
No. I don't know if you got to bounce anytime soon, but I got a few more comments to run through. A few more questions that have been put into the chat, so to speak. So let me go. Let's see. We did that one. This one we'll just cover real quick. I will say no. I saw his girlfriend. She's about as tall as he is, so that means he likes short women. But you know, who doesn't like a tall tree to climb every now and then? Caption grandma. What's your opinion on Tosin? He doesn't seem to have played much EPL for being 26 years old. Real quick, what's your take on him?
Okay, so basically, it was a combination of things why he didn't play that many. Because I believe he was injured quite a bit, and I think he was dropped. That is correct. But when they dropped him, they started losing games, and they realized quickly they needed him back in. So I think they dropped him for either 6 to 8 games. They dropped him, and that's when they started dropping the points. As soon as he come back into the squad, and
then they got right again.
It kind of leveled out again. They started drawing, and they started winning, picking points up, climbing up the table. So that's from the research that I looked at. And I did do a video on them. I think about 3-4 weeks ago.
Go to Southview Coys, find that video, hit the likes up, say what's up to Ash. Howard Vale with the question in regards to Micky Van de Veen. If he comes before the weekend, doubt whether he'll get a work permit in time for the Donetsk game, or maybe he wouldn't play in any event. Do you agree, Ash?
Who are we talking about? Van de Veen?
Van de Veen, yeah. If we sign him, say Friday, can we even get him? I don't think he'll do anything, but I guarantee we'll do exactly what we did with Dan Juma for Eid. You know what they did with Dan Juma for Eid? Yeah, he ain't played a minute of ball, but we'll just show pony him out there for the Muslims so we can get some people. You know, it's all the imagery, right? So I think if we sign Van de Veen this weekend on Sunday, they're going to trot him around the pitch like he's a show pony, and they're going to say, "Look at this stud right here. Stick your finger in there and smell it." And it's like, it's great, and I'm sure everyone's going to lose their mind. I will be watching if they're showing that on Spurs Play. I will be watching that. People, they will sell out. I guarantee they will sell out if it's just to see him. Next question I got started from Callum Roche. Big up Callum, new chat not member, but new person in the chat. Big up. Question: do you think we will sell before the window shuts? I'm gonna add something on. If you can, we only get 3 people out the door, some on loan, but 3 sold. Who are you selling? Who's on the top of your list? The 3 on the top of your list.
It's not going to happen. But I will get rid of the people that have been here for a while. I remember I was talking about culture. I want new faces. So Larice, Dyer, and Davies. I know they're mainstays, and I know that's a big chop. But for me, it's about like cut your nose off right now, and then hopefully we'll spruce some new green shoots eventually. I know it's a massive risk, but I just don't want anyone around from that kind of era that kind of Poch era where we were, especially at the back. They can't really affect the game. Do you know what I'm saying? They can save us points, and they have passion. They've been here, they're veterans. Some of them been there for 8 years, some of them been for 10 years, or maybe more in the Reese's case. But it's like a thank you, I respect you. Maybe not respect, but thank you and goodbye. Just, you know. It's not personal. It's just for the team. Like, I just need to see an injection of new people, new faces, new energy, new dynamic, people that have different ideas. I'm not saying they're not hungry and they don't have that passion and desire, but I want a little bit more than that. I need ability now.
Yeah.
I can cope with
Right, like Lucas Moura's got enough passion to fill up water jug after water jug. But do we want Lucas Moura water? Not really.
Like,
Yeah.
I love, like, there's love. Like, you as a
Honestly,
person,
though, he's shown more emotion about leaving Tottenham than Kane shown emotion the 2 times we've been. I'm not knocking Kane. I'm just saying. But Irish with something here about Kane says we built the new stadium to drive revenues, to keep hold of our best players and compete with the bigger clubs at the same time. Selling Kane goes against all of that, and the market is about improving, not making your team worse. Selling Kane, any way you cut it, is us getting worse. But I wonder, Ash, this just made me think of a great question I want to ask you. I've thrown it on the channel a few times, and everyone says we need 2 players to replace Harry Kane. And Sean from Spurs Talk Show, shout him out, he also says there's going to be a day when Harry Kane kicks his last ball for Spurs. Now, I'm curious if we haven't already laid the foundations to potentially fulfilling half of that. We got James Maddison now, who can do what Kane does when he drops back. Let's say that much, right? We can all agree that James Maddison in that creative forward role is going to play that link up between the mid and the forwards that we saw Kane do all throughout Jose, Conte, Nuno, etc. So my thought being, we got Maddison in. Is that half of this equation of the 2 players we need? Now we just need that forward. And I've thrown out, is Richarlison the other half? No, I don't think Richarlison and Maddison equal a Kane. But could a Maddison and a mystery man equal Harry Kane?
in my opinion, it's about the team now. It's no longer about the one player. Whereas when we were with Conte and Mourinho, a lot of the play went through Kane and Son and Kane, vice versa. That's why he had one season when Kane had the golden boot and the assist award. Like, it's crazy. He did 2 in 1. Like, I don't even know if that's been done before. Maybe Henry's done it. But yeah, he won both of those awards. And then the other season, he was like not far away from winning the golden boot. But I think in this system, you're going to have not just the strikers scoring. So Kane's going to score if he was to stay. But now you're going to have other players chipping in when they weren't chipping in before. Like, the nearest player to Kane, well, he wasn't even nowhere near him, was Son. Son got 11. He was a second highest scorer, wasn't he? But in this system, I'm expecting loads of players to chip in a lot more and the goals to be evenly distributed. Now, with that being said, if Kane was to be sold, would we be reliant on solely like a striker to get us 30 goals? I don't think we would be. I know the Celtic striker, Kyogo, he managed to get 30 goals roughly.
But you could definitely spread those out across. I think Maddison could give you at least 10 to 12 with probably another 15 assists is my hope for the guy. I think Sonny, if he gives you an improved season, double the goals of last season, maybe gives you 18 to 20. Whoever our striker is, whether it's Richarlison or some of these guys that we've mentioned, I think they could come in and I don't think Richarlison gives us 15. I think 12 to 13 if we're lucky with 15 offside goals. I've been seeing a few people in the chat mention. Do you know this guy?
The offside rules changing. Do you remember that? That goal he scored.
Has it changed yet? Because he still can't stay offsides in the preseason.
Against the Sailors, there was one goal he scored that was offside. The other goal wasn't. But they didn't put a replay on it because I watched it back and I was like, oh my goodness. I freeze framed it. He was onside. There was a play on the far side that was playing
Keeping
them
him on.
And they didn't do no action replays. They didn't do there was no VAR.
Yeah.
In the Prem, he scores 4 goals. I'm not saying Richarlison's going to score another 5 to 10 goals now because, one person's, toe is on playing them on. And before it's like a fingertip and you're offside, but now it's the back of your foot and you're still onside. You see what I'm trying to say? So it might benefit him. It might not. I don't know. But the point I'm making is whoever comes in, because we need a player. If Kane was to go, this is my hypothetical. If Kane was to go now, we need a guy to push Richarlison. We can't rely on Richarlison. It's not going to work. Ideally, you want Kane to stay because he has so much quality in terms of an actual footballer. An actual footballer, Maddison, he might get injured. Do you know what I mean? So there is a possibility Kane could drop into the 8. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got the legs to play that number 9 and be the sacrificial lamb, as my guy says, then maybe Kane drops a little bit in the midfield, does what he does because he can spray the ball left, right. His first touch is good. He's good at receiving it on the half turn, can do all the things that an 8 needs to do. But he's higher up, he's closer to the striker, so then he can play that link ball into Richarlison or another striker that we may purchase. I don't know. Maybe a youngster, maybe an Auburn. I don't know. I'm just dreaming. Let me just dream for a while.
Hey, let you dream, baby. I'm letting you dream as long as you want. If there's one thing I won't do, it's shoot down your hopes if I don't have to. And with the Grift Orban, I'm not going to shoot that down. Maybe he is just secretly a Spurs fan. That's why he was shitting on Arsenal. Who knows?
Even if it was Son in that position, Son goes up top, and Son's up front, and Kane drops in behind.
Well, the chat has told me apparently we're signing this guy, Alejo Veliz.
This is it. This is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
From Rosario Central. I don't know where is that? Argentina. Valued at 7.3 mil. That's pretty high. Jazz Fusion, real quick to answer this, Scott. If you're talking about Alex Scott from Bristol City, I believe Bournemouth are bidding 25 mil for him. So there are people in for him, and it's not us. But don't worry, in 2 years he'll go for 100 mil to City when he's proven that he can cut it here. Don't worry.
I mean, hopefully we
big up Drake, Bucks fan. Put me on this Alejo Veliz. Let me go ahead and share this what I'm looking at, so we can look at this together. This is, you can't really see it there, Alejo Veliz. So right here says 19 years of age, 6'2". Okay, talk to me nicely. He could be 6'4" by the time this shakes out. He's still 19. That's 6 more years of growing. In Liga Profesional de Futbol, he averaged a 7.14, so over 7. 23 matches, started 22 out of 23, 11 goals, and I don't see any assists. 11 goals.
Any key passes? Any
passing?
You're gone.
Passing. I'm looking down here right below you, Ash.
Long balls are excellent. 83% long balls. That means he can hit a ball.
83% accurate long balls. 53% opposition. Say that again.
How many games did he start?
22 out of 23 last year. Let's see what other, if you play any other competition in the U20 World Cup. All right, what did he do there? 3 starts out of 4 matches, 3 goals and 3 starts for Argentina in the U20 World Cup. That's very nice. Let's see, the U20 CONMEBOL started 2 out of 4 matches, 0 goals. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, I'm all about this youngsters being in the rotation. Let's get this 19. This is something I've critiqued. And if this is true, I'm getting really excited right now, Ash, because this is something I've critiqued Tottenham for a lot, which is why are we not signing these young, unheard of players like the Kim Min Jaes of the past? You know, these players, Kvaratskhelia, we were in for him as well, and we didn't do it. And we look back, like myself, and I say, well, why didn't we do that? Why didn't we pull the trigger there? And you know what? This guy, Alejo Veliz, however you say his name, I love it. 19 years old, 6'2". He can score goals in his league. I like it. You know, Julian Alvarez for City, he came straight from this league, right? Boca Juniors, or was it? It was Boca Juniors.
Yeah, West Brom Junior. And think about it, Brighton players, what league did they come from? If you look at the player they just sold to Liverpool, McAllister, where did he come from? What league did he come from? What part of South America did he come from?
Yeah.
So it looks like we're doing what we did say at the start of the season, where we are going to look at data analytics and we're going to find a player and we're actually going to pull the trigger on someone.
Because that's how you find the gift Orbans. And you said he's been monitored by us for quite some time. I like that. I like that we're doing it. Big up Foxy. That's the new name in the chat. Says, Alejo Veliz is not ready for Prem football. Good prospect, but one you have to loan out.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I haven't never watched the kid play. I'm not going to claim to be an Alejo Veliz merchant, but if you know anything about him, please do share it in the chat. Let's see. Who's Veliz? Anyone know? That's what we're trying to figure out. Buying a striker. I mean, I was looking on Twitter. I don't see anything from Fabrizio, so it hasn't been tapped in yet. Because like you said, when Fabrizio tweets it, you can put your house on it because he ain't going to say it unless it's legitimately happening. But that doesn't mean that it isn't happening because he's said nothing, though. It's happened many a times that, like Vicario, he never mentioned us linked with Vicario at all. And then all of a sudden, bang, we got him.
Exactly.
So I like it. I like it. How many goals between Solomon and Kulu? How many goals will Solomon and Kulu have between them? I don't know.
Kulu's a funny one, A lot of people are onto Kulu, the ginger from Sweden. And for some reason, like beating a man, he can do it. But when it comes to that final piece, it's just not happened for him. I don't know if that will change during the season, if it will all of a sudden just work because the amount of chances he gets will just open up, or a player like Son being on form might open up more space for him. Because I think what happened the other season when he did so well, a lot of players were drawn to Son because Son was on shit hot form. All of a sudden, space opens up for Kulu. I know people say, he was an unknown quantity, but having Kane and Son on really good form can give you more space. And if Son turns up, I think Kulu won't be too far behind him. Just my opinion, just my thoughts. I know he's been poor of late, and I've even said that I think Son should push over onto the right and have maybe Solomon on the left because Kulu's not on form. But that's just in certain games. I think Kulu might surprise a couple people, man. We might come back.
I hope so. And that's the thing with Kulu. I've said I'm leaving the door open for him to impress me still. I haven't closed the door on him like I have some players in the past. But I look at it very black and white in the sense I've watched him play badly for Spurs more than I've seen him play good. The same rings true for all the other players that I want out of here. Reguilon, Sessegnon, Dyer. Davies I wouldn't even throw in there because you know what? He'll give you a solid 5 or a 6 every match. He's going to make a mistake, but then he'll do something good. So he's kind of, I guess. But I keep Davies personally. I keep Davies for this year at least. But Dyer's got to go. I know I'm kind of answering a question from 30 minutes ago, but
yeah, I mean, Sessegnon's an injury pro, so I wouldn't be mad if he was sold over Davies because Davies is available at least, where Sessegnon, you just don't see him. He's just injured all the time. He's always on that table. So
new Argentinian mate for Romero. Here we go. Another mate drinker. I'm all about it. Veliz will be a disaster if he gets thrown in straight to the first team for a I agree, Foxy. I don't think any of us are hoping that this 19-year-old comes in and replaces Harry Kane. I think this is just hopefully what I'm hoping is one of those things that we're gonna see a change in the way that we operate things. Get some youngsters like the Solomon, a free young winger, Premier League, proven off of the bench. I would say Gift is legit. I do agree. Daniel, not gonna lie, never heard of him. Scott M, if this guy comes to Spurs, he'll be playing in the Mexican League in 5 years. He shouldn't ruin his career. Mari says, big up Mari, says, I'm the Argentinian expert. Seen him in action. Very bright future. Solid for his age. Very nice, Mari. I know you're a good source for all this South American football. Says we need to do better in scouting CONMEBOL talent. I agree. This is a something that I've harped on in the past. And like I said in the beginning when I brought up Alejo Velez is I want to see us operating in this manner. But big up JK, Jay Kismet, big up. Big up everyone in the chat. Still 145 of y'all. This is crazy. So big up y'all. Please do hit that like. We are over 2 hours now, so I'm going to be wrapping up the short. I'm going to be wrapping up the show shortly. But big ups everyone who's here. Please do make sure you hit the like. Participate in the poll. Absolutely free. If you got any last minute super chats, those are always welcome. Got a couple more starred questions from the chat throughout this show. Question from Callum says, "Who do you think will sell?" Oh, wait, that's the one we did. Never mind. I got two more. JC says, why don't you sell Dyer to the Saudis for 50 mil? And I'll tell you why. Because they don't want that trash polluting their league. Is there anything else I need to say?
Simple as that. There's nothing else more said.
Yeah. Because if they came in for 10 million, I'm biting their hand off at that deal personally. Let's see. The Farsher question, Kane is a better number 10 than Madison. Discuss. I'll start with you, Ash.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kane, as a footballer, is exceptional. And I feel like between the two of them, they've got enough brains on them that they can figure it out. Kane being a better 10, Kane's just a top baller. I don't know if he's a better... I don't know. I don't know if I can say wholeheartedly he's a better 10 than Madison. Simply because... in terms of dribbling, I feel like Madison's a little bit different. Like, he's got a bit more about him when it comes to dribbling. I'm not saying Kane can't dribble, because I've seen him beat players, and I'm like, how is Kane doing that? He's got no pace. But Madison, he's just different. The way he kind of drops a shoulder and can beat a player. Kane does that to me as well. He does that as well. But I just think, yeah, slightly different. Kane can do both, man. He can do the 10, he can do the 9, he can do the false 9.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of...
I think Kane can thrive in whatever position you put him in. Give him the goalie gloves, and what does he do?
Remember, that was one of the games in Europa. He played in goal.
That's what I'm saying. You put him anywhere on the pitch. He's one of these guys. I'm going to hype up Kane like I hype up Adama Traore. He can play any position on the pitch, not because of what I used to argue for Adama Traore, but Kane's intellect, I guarantee any position he wants to play, he could play. I mean, when he said, oh, I didn't feel comfortable enough on my left, so what did I do for the whole month of training? Use nothing but my left. And now he doesn't have a weak foot. So, Kane, Jazz says, Cool is going nowhere in the system. Cheer up. He'll fit much better when the next manager comes in, probably. I'm hoping that you're right, Ash, with what you said, that we will see an improvement on Kulusevski, because, quite frankly, if I'm using the argument of the way that we played for our wingers, specifically the left wing and Sonny last season, was not great. And him tracking back and playing defense on Wilfred Zaha is not something I ever want to see Sonny do. And yet that's what he was doing. So if I'm going to defend Sonny with the tactics hurt and hindered his performance, I have to also do it then for Kulusevski. I just think he's been poor. He's not as quality of a player, but maybe the system has held him back, and maybe Ainge can get some out of him. So far in this preseason, it hasn't given me much hope that it will. He's getting a lot of opportunities, but what has he done with them? Nothing. So I just don't. I hope he comes good. I hope he proves me wrong, shuts me the hell up, honestly. Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola? I don't know what that... Maybe you're asking someone else that. Kane too slow to be a 10, says Sean. Big up Sean. EJ Daniel from Barbados says Van de Veen, Phillips, Tosin.
Big up. My hometown.
Big up. That's your hometown, right? Yeah, shout out. Shout out Sean, EJ Daniel.
You are not in the UK. You are in Barbados. Clip. What is it? Wife Swap? Something. I can't remember the show. But yeah,
that's that old Fox show that they used to send. They would take probably some redneck, right, and someone from Barbados, and they swapped them or something.
Over, and the kids are like, "I want human rights. This is unfair. I'm 16. I'm allowed to smoke." And she was like, "Having none of it." Nah, I'm the boss. Sean
says Van de Veen, Phillips, Tosin, and Romero could have 30 plus goals plus less goals conceded. And a trophy by the end of the year. I don't know about a trophy. I just want to see some improvement. I want to see some direction. Mate Moreto is reporting the Valise info. Might be legit. And then also real quick on the Valise news. Valise or Velez? Howard Vale says that Rosario Central want to keep him until the end of 2023 as part of the agreement. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the old the Paratici specials. You know, we'll buy him, let you have him for a year, and then he comes back, and I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. If that's how it's what we did with Udogi, I like Udogi so far. It's what we did with Sar. I like what we see with Sar so far. I don't mind if we go grab a talent that maybe isn't for sale, but we buy him and loan him back immediately. It hasn't proved to be that bad, except for the Brian Hill thing, because this will forever be stuck and ingratiated into my mind with the Brian Hill thing. The trade offer is I receive nothing. And Sevilla, you receive Lamella, Brian Hill, 25 million. And I haven't changed it, but it needs to say UEL trophy. Champions. Yeah, champion.
What would you say? What would you say? Like, what would be your back four going in against Brentford? Out of curiosity, do you have one in mind? Do you think? Let's suppose Micky signs. Like, let's suppose Micky comes in. Who is your back four?
Udogi, Van de Veen, Romero, and Pedro Porro.
Oh,
Unless
so you're going attacking.
Unless
you're going attacking.
Maybe Royale, but I don't know. The three, if we get Van de Veen, for sure he starts. Romero starts. Udogi is our only hope at the left back position. So I'm hinging my bets on him. I think he's very talented. I watched a lot of Udinese last year. I think he's very talented. Originally played left back before he played left wing back, so I've got a lot of hope there. I think he can clean it up defensively. I think he might have some learning curve to get over at first, but I like him. Pedro Porro, Royale, it's kind of you win and lose with either one of those choices. What about you?
I agree. I would put the only thing I'd do is probably have Royale, only because the height issue. For me, you're going against a team that's going to be hitting free kicks, hitting corners. They like to hit corners a lot. Every time they get a corner, I get nervous. So I want Emerson Royale for his height. I want Micky van der Veen for his height.
Yeah.
I want Udogi. I want Udogi for his height as well. So
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's got loads of tall guys in that box, in that area. So even if they're going for a header, they can kind of challenge for it. So
yeah,
that's my personal opinion. Like, obviously Porro will be good attacking wise, but yeah, me personally, I would have those 4 centre backs, 4 fullbacks.
Yeah. Audio Artisan with a recommendation here. I watched their playoffs. I was watching the playoffs, both of their games for Luton Town. I like this Elijah Adebayo. I think he's about 21, 22, a little bit on the older side. We played on the left wing. Highly impressive there for Luton that I watched. Very similar to Ivan Toney. I do like to scout my championship for my Ivan Toneys. I do like to pat myself on the back. I got that one right. I used to see Ivan Toney when he first went to Brentford, and I said, who is this guy? I like him a lot. And he was only proven me correct throughout time. Elijah Adebayo could be another one of those. Now, I have an app on my phone, SofaScore. I have it on my phone, and I have a list of players that I get updates when they play, when they do anything, when they breathe, shit, eat, order, takeout. I know because I got this app. Not plugging the app because they don't sponsor the channel, but I will say this. He's on my list of updates. I get updates on him as well. So he did play today, 68 minutes, I believe. But I definitely keep an eye on him. Good shout, Audio Artisan. I'm always looking for those. Gift Orban, he's another one of those. I've been getting updates. And it was like as soon as I put him to get updates, it was hat tricks. Just couldn't stop getting hat tricks. But big up. I am going to be wrapping up the show here in just a second. But I want to say big shout out to everyone who's tuned in. It's been a whopping 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it's been a fun and it's been great. Honestly, when you're talking ball and talking things, Ash, I could talk to you for hours and it feels like a very short time. The only thing I just got reminded was because my wife and my son were at the door and I was like, oh shit, how long have I been going? Oh yeah, I got a family. I have to attend to them. So. Ash, I want to say big ups and thank you so much for popping on. Also, shout out Mrs. RG in the house. This is This is Barbados, not the UK, my man. World's strictest parent, best episode.
That's it. World's Strictest Parents. Guys, give it a watch on YouTube, man. Hilarious.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Big up Christoph Kavalets as well. Howdy, howdy. You popped in late, but there's a great 2 hours of content from Ash and I. So I want to say big ups to everyone who joined. I want to say big ups also again to Never a Foul for the raid. They blessed me, sent a lot of people on over. So I want to say big shout out to them as well. Let me go ahead and see if anyone is live, if I can pass along the love and redirect y'all to somewhere beautiful. I would only send you to the best places, I promise. Let me see if anyone is live. No, I don't see anyone live right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and end the show then. But Ash, let me go ahead and pull up your link. I haven't seen Ben in a while, so I don't know if he's still out there, Ben. But if you could drop Southview Koi's link in. If not, I can do it up real quick. You got something coming out? What, any player profiles we need to be keeping an eye out for?
All right, so tonight, just now. So Thursday night, 8 p.m., we do have a show. I'm not going to be hosting it. We've got Has and Has. So it's Has versus Has. Debating.
A Has off.
It's a Has off. It's going to be mad. We've got a few talking points, so it might be a bit controversial. But yeah, Spurs related. So check it out tomorrow. It should be around 8 o'clock. Pretty sure it's 8 p.m. kickoff.
There it is. Scott put it in the chat. Southview Koi's as the same time I did. There it is. I just looked. You were 80. You were now 68 away from 1K. So again, there's about 120 of y'all right now hanging out. If half of you go, click this link and subscribe, you can help get them boys over to 1K. And then they will forcibly, contractually, y'all saw it. Ash agreed. They will shout out United Spurs of America if we help them hit 1K tonight. So let's get that done. Caption Grandma says, can't find your player profile and Tosin out of her bio.
It's going to be one of our live shows we did. So I don't know if it's the third or fourth show we did. It's not the Italian one. I think it's the one before the Italian show. Pretty sure. But it's a live show we did, and I spoke about it. It wasn't one I did like.
Oh, it was a live show in which you broke it
live
down.
show, yeah. So since like we've been going live, I haven't been doing individuals as much. I've been doing more on the live show. I've been throwing the profiles just to get people watching the live show a bit more.
Yeah.
But I may do one or two players now as an individual. Now we're coming towards the close because we've only got like, 29, 30 days left of transfer gossip. So
29 days?
28 days. So yeah, even less.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might throw out a couple. We've only got 3 to 4 weeks left. But yeah,
Great.
on my next show, that I'm doing my analytics on particular players will be on a Tuesday, and you can catch me at 9:15.
There you go.
Hope it doesn't
Catch
clash
them
with-
there. The link is in the chat. It's in the description of this video. If you're watching back on playback, do help these boys get over to 1K. There are 3 great lads over there doing a lot of great stuff. So appreciate what y'all do. I do appreciate it. This has been a mountain of a stream, man. This is I might have to do one of those things where content creators, they break it up and they put like, here's 30 minutes here, because this has been a great discussion. We covered a lot of different things. Also, I want to say shout out to anyone new who discovered the channel today. This has been another United Spurs of America Untitled Series, episode 23. So appreciate y'all tapping in. Big up Callum, says great show. Glad to find the channel. I'm very glad that you found the channel. Too blessed to be stressed. That's the motto here. And I appreciate everyone who tapped in. Daniel says great show. Daniel E says great show. Daniel Sandoval says great show. One love. Big up, never a foul every single time. They're asking for you to do Gift Orban as your next player profile.
Did him on Tuesday. And I did him a month ago. So check out the one I did a month ago. That will be on my loans. So I did like a loan look to see who potentially played this season. So that was about 4 weeks ago. Check about 4 weeks or a month. Check about that out. That's done individually. And then last night I did them on my live show. So I think maybe 20 to 30 minutes into the show, I think I started talking about Cliff Orban, where I show video clips of him doing his bits and I'm talking about it. So, and then we actually discussed the play a bit further through analytics as well and doing the eye test. Check it out. it out.
Check it out. Go give them a sub. Go check it out. Got plenty coming out. I do also want to give a special shout out to Caption Grandma, locked in. Grandma. Got Grandma signed up for the membership. Feeling good, feeling blessed. Thank you so much, Caption Grandma, for locking it in, getting that membership. I want to say special shout out. We averaged about 200 people this show. So again, lastly, want to shout out Never a Foul, as always, for the raid. But also before that, we were hitting around, I think it was like 90 people, around 100 people. We were teeter-tottering right around there. Never a Foul came. We hit 250, and we averaged about 190, 200 for the rest of the show. So big ups to everyone who stayed from the Never a Foul raid. I do appreciate y'all. And then we got the lone Twitch comment that popped up here late. So Kane ain't leaving. No, Kane's staying. Kane's staying forever. We'll never let him leave. Dry Rose Peanut knows the next line that I'm going to say before I sign this show out. So as always, everybody, stay fresh, stay blessed, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs.
I'm on the Spurs.
You want to hit them with the quiz? Hey, quiz.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.